What's going on, guys? We're back with what we can now call fourth and inches. We're not talking about our penis size, just four guys talking about balls, footballs. But yeah, just obviously back week 4. It's flying by. Can't wait to get out of lockdown, as I keep saying every week. I hope everyone enjoyed the last few podcasts, and we appreciate all the support we've had. We also announced the winner last week, which was Mr. Anthony Bromhead. We've decided to actually go out and get him a jersey instead, which should hopefully be with him in about 4 or 5 weeks. So check out the Facebook page as well, just so you've all got proof that we did actually make good on the giveaway. Just wanted to give you a quick recap on wide receivers before jumping into the next section of our NFL basics section, which is obviously consistent of positions at the moment. So essentially, wide receivers are your target men per se. They're the ones that the quarterbacks are looking to get the ball to as much as possible, to run routes, get as far down the field as possible, in as less little plays as possible, and essentially put points on the board. But we got quite another packed segment in terms of we're going to be talking a lot about schedules, because obviously they were released this week as well, so we're looking forward to that. But after having said that, I'll pass over to Mr. Hales, who's going to walk us through the tight end position.
So,
over to you, brother.
Thanks, Carl.
Don't be nervous.
Hi, Carl. Hope we're all okay. Thanks for that introduction again, Carl. Right. So tight ends. Very similar in a sense to a wide receiver. However, the tight end's got two roles or main jobs essentially. So they've got the two main. One being you've got to catch the ball, so similar to a wide receiver, and the second one is you act as a blocker, or what is called an offensive lineman. So it's always dependent on the play, whether you need that extra blocker to cover the passer or to create routes for a running back, or they make the runs themselves for the catches. Naturally, with that being said and the actual role of it, you find that the tight end, they are much bigger in stature as opposed to your wide receivers being quite, I suppose, athletically thinner, I guess, to run much quicker and jump and have the agility. The tight end is a much bigger sized person because they have to do the blocking as well. That's why they're well used in a lot of teams' catching game, because they're so big. It's the same. Essentially, it can be the same cornerbacks that are covering them. So it's much bigger. It's a very effective way of catching the ball, and it's a very effective way of blocking as well. I think that pretty much does cover it. I don't know if anyone else wants to jump in and say any different, or how wrong I am, or.
No, the thing I'd add to it is there tends to be a threat mainly in the red zone. Like that's where tight ends have actually made their name. Really, is the work they've done in the red zone. So we're talking from the 20-yard line in towards the end zone. That's where tight ends become, because they're just big targets. They're big and they're powerful. I mean, there's a clip that I'm hoping Carl's going to put on of Gronk blocking somebody out of the end zone and into the cameraman.
Expats player, isn't it?
It's also now a Tampa Bay player. I mean, I don't know whether that helps, but because of how they are on the line, sort of thing, their blocking is unbelievable. I mean, if a good blocking tight end is a key to a good offense, because they open up so many lanes, and especially when you run stuff like screens and stuff like that, they because they get their blocking early, they're able to force themselves into that second level where they get a linebacker who tends to be smaller than them, and then they can hold up the linebacker while the wide receiver or the runner makes a play.
It's like Nick said, it's essentially a hybrid position, isn't it?
Yeah.
Combination, isn't it? You've got to be able to catch the ball, and you've got to be physically strong as well to be able to block. So, and like you say, that's why they're so effective in the end zone. It's not a safe pass, but when you weigh it all up, it can sometimes be a bit safer.
Yeah,
Didn't want to use that word, but yeah.
It's using their big frames to your advantage, effectively, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Because if you've got that big target, you can either put it in their hands or put it literally into their chest, and they're strong. Therefore, it's likely that they'll more likely anyway than wide receivers, for example, that they'll withstand a hit, whether it's side, back, or front, whatever it is. They're more likely to bring the ball under control and get the touchdown, I suppose.
I think the other thing to note is a lot of teams choose different types of tight ends based on the plays or the type of offense they run. So some teams won't necessarily will sort of take a tight end that's predominantly good at catching. They might just get him in purely for the blocking sense, whereas other teams might go the other way and say, well, look, blocking is the least of our worries. We need someone that can catch that's big. So it's all relative to different teams' approach to games, different systems, different plays. There's a lot of things that are there's a lot of variables in the tight end role, essentially, with each team.
I think Baltimore, like feeding off that, what you've just put in, Nick, I think Baltimore are a good example of that because Lamar Jackson uses his tight ends really well.
Mm-hmm.
He throws a lot of high balls to them because they can go up and they can make the big catches. And because they're big framed, they've got a bigger span so they can get hold of the ball that's above their head, and that's why they're such a threat, because anything above them they can go up and get it. It's a very, very good thing to have, and that's what Lamar Jackson utilised so well last year. So they're a team that I think they utilise 3 tight ends in some of their sets, which is massive because they're using 1 to block and then the 2. They're sometimes using 2 to block. All 3 could be blocking, or they could just be coming out the backfield and they could just be running riot. It's a way of them, I suppose, forming an offense, and they're utilising what Lamar Jackson does well.
Mm-hmm. I can't believe you have done this, Beaver. You've complimented Lamar Jackson, essentially.
I'm going to keep that forever.
I didn't want to say anything, just in case.
Can you clip it, Carl?
Well, 100%, mate. It's being clipped.
They utilised the tight ends well last year, but I mean, if you want to talk about other tight ends, you can talk about George Kittle and the influence he had on the 49ers last year. Because it was kind of a breakout season for him.
Yeah, 100%.
I mean, he's
a
fun guy to watch as well.
Of the game, like he broke out. He's running, he's catching, he's blocking. He's just a beast, isn't he?
Yeah.
It's class.
His personality as well. I feel like he put his personality onto the 49ers as well, because he just seems to like he's enjoying every moment. And if you notice, when the games got big last year, when the game was at its toughest point, he was the one that stepped up. I mean, I don't know if you remember the game against the Saints last year when me and you were watching it, Nick, and it was late in the fourth, and he picked up that catch and just ran for 40 yards, and
I think he had one bloke was like on his back. He had one trying to tackle him. He was just running, he was like shrugging him off. Yeah. We should try and get that video on there. I'll put it in the group, to be fair.
Yeah, do that.
It was a great play. It was a great play, that was. I think for anybody new to the game as well, I think if you want to see what it's about being a tight end, George Kittle is somebody you should definitely look at. George Kittle and Travis Kelce, in my opinion, because they're 2 of the best, especially today.
Since you mentioned his name and you've already complimented one person from a team that you dislike very much, in Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens, talk me through your love for Travis Kelce and the fact that you hate Kansas City Chiefs at the same time. Talk me through it, because I'm confused.
I hate Kansas City because I'm an AFC team. Oh, come on.
But you love one of their most effective players. But
Travis Kelce, no. What you got to understand is you got to respect somebody that's good at what they do.
I'm trying to understand. Tell me.
You got to respect somebody who's very good at what they do. And Travis Kelce's one of the top tight ends in the game. His hands are ridiculous. His route running is ridiculous, and he's powerful. Like he's a very good blocking tight end as well. He opens up a lot, especially when they run the jet sweeps with Tyreek Hill and stuff like that. Travis Kelce is key to that because he'll get on the outside and he'll lead the blockers, and he likes to have fun with it as well. Like it's good to see people, even though they're working. And I suppose when you look at it in that context, you look at people who are doing sports and it's something they love. The enjoyment on his face and Kittle's face when they're playing in the games, and the attitudes they've got when they're bouncing up and down on the sidelines and getting the crowd involved and having fun, like it draws you in. and that's what part of being a fan is about. Is like you find a player who you can be like, look how much fun they're having, and like it draws you into it. Like Gronk used to do it when he was a Patriot. Gronk used to dance on the sidelines all the time. Like there's videos of him scoring afterwards, and he's literally dancing down the sidelines, and it's just fun for him. And it draws you in. Like you can relate to it.
Yeah.
Of having fun, like when you play your own sports and stuff like that. So I find it like because of the way Travis Kelce goes about the game, I feel like I find him a good player to watch because of the fun he has and the way he makes himself a presence in every game.
Perfect. I think that's a very good summary of the tight end position and some excellent modern players to look out for as well. Forgive me if I don't. Did anyone mention Shannon Sharp? He's a good one to have a look at if people haven't looked at highlights of him as well. But moving on from who?
Greg Olsen.
Greg Olsen.
Who
Oh,
is that? The one with the Zimmer frame? Is he still
You
playing?
mean the Seattle player?
Hey.
Hey, Carl, isn't it interesting that my tight end's gone to your team and Liam's tight end's gone to Nick's team?
Interesting. Who got
Wonder how they get on.
We did.
Come on now.
He
Greg
played
Olsen.
this year.
I agree.
It's a no-brainer. We'll win more games this year than the Bucks.
No, I don't dispute that. But is it going to
Easy,
be
isn't it?
Greg Olsen?
Got a better quarterback.
Keep sipping your brew, dog.
Hey, we've not mentioned your Barnet.
I know, yeah. Just don't worry. It's no
Carl-
big deal. I'm
Carl
not a new
did a
person.
Carl did a thing, everyone.
I did a thing. And then shaved my head. Yeah, I've had a Brittany moment, to be honest. It's been coming for a while. Yeah. It's literally, I've never gone this short before, and because it's just coming back as stubble now, every time I either dry my head or put a hoodie on, it's like fucking Velcro. It's an absolute nightmare.
You had much fluff stick to it yet?
No, I haven't, to be honest. I don't know. No, I haven't.
How many
Whenever I do
times
take
today
my
does
hat
Charles
off,
slap him?
quite a few. She likes it though, which is good. You know what I mean? But no, it's good. It's good. I would prefer it like this. Anyway, off my bald head. Like completely lost my train of thought. Are we moving straight on to schedules? Because obviously that's a huge part of the NFL. In terms, the schedule come out on Thursday or Friday? Was it Thursday?
Thursday.
Yeah, to commence from Thursday, September the 10th this year. Is that right? Yeah.
Yep.
So,
And we're going to open up with the Kansas City, because it always opens up with the defending champs playing. Kansas City I believe they're at home to the Houston Texans to start with, which is a
Massive game.
blockbuster game.
Yeah.
Game.
Great game to choose for the first game of the season, isn't it? Definitely.
Especially as it was a replay of the playoff game last year when Kansas City came back from 21-0 down in a quarter.
Yeah,
I
that was ridiculous.
I get the feeling that they were obviously all sat around the table and talking fixtures and just like, well, we've got to do it. We've got to do it again. So, yeah.
I mean,
a
Texans
DeAndre
are gonna-
Hopkins-less team as well.
Yeah, that's
Texans
true.
Yeah.
Does that take a bit of the shine off it?
For me,
It
I
does.
think it does, yeah.
Yeah.
But you also it leaves you with the question of, well, who's going to step up?
Mm.
I'm interested to, Will Fuller's been injured for so long.
Yeah.
He always seems to get injured after he goes off.
Yeah.
So I'm interested to see Will Fuller, and I'm also interested to see David Johnson. I want to see what David Johnson we get this year.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I've always had admiration for him, so I'd like to see him to try and take the ball by the horns. Whether he will or not, I don't know. But yeah, I didn't really think about Hopkins not being there. Now it's occurred to me, like I'm a bit like Liam. It takes a little bit of the shine off. I was all excited, and now I'm like, Kansas win.
On paper, definitely.
Mahomes goes off.
Yeah.
The hardest thing to do though is to, when you've got to that point where you've won the Super Bowl, you've now got to think to yourself, can we go again? It's hard to, and it's an interesting one of finding that motivation to go again.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
Because they're at a point now where they could progress into a dynasty or dynasty, however you want to pronounce it.
I'm glad you said both. Then I was gonna pull you up on it for banter, but I won't. You do
I
yourself.
knew you was going to. I could see the smile on your face. But generally, I think that it's an interesting time for them because they are going to have to start paying players soon. Contracts are always going to be a thing, and then obviously the salary cap creeps in. So it's a big thing for them now, and especially coming off the high of winning. It's whether you've still got that drive to win again. Now, Mahomes looks like a kind of guy who's hungry all the time, but again, like people start looking at you now as champs, so their game ups against you now. That's it. Like they're like, oh, we want to beat the champs. We're going to make a statement. And Houston could be thinking that because people are going to be digging on Houston. Bill O'Brien's going to be under a lot of pressure. I mean, if it goes badly for Houston this year, I can see him getting the sack quite rapidly.
Yeah.
Especially with the trade of Hopkins and stuff like that. I think that the Texans could have a point to prove, and they could be a surprise to the Kansas City Chiefs, and they could punch them straight in the mouth without them even knowing it. Depending on, because I'm pretty sure they'll have their unveiling and stuff like that on the same night, on opening night. So
I think mentally, I think it's going to be. I feel like it's going to be tougher for the Chiefs than it will the Texans mentally. Like you say, that regrouping, going again mentality that we've seen it so many times, just in the last since I've been watching it anyway. Since I've been like almost religiously watching NFL, you see it. You look at the teams that they go wow, and then next year it is just difficult to go again, isn't it?
Yeah, I think
the Texans have got a lot to prove because the Texans, wow, they fucked up big time last year in that game, and I think that the defensive coaches on that game, they are literally going to be hammering the defense going into that game with the players because the cornerbacks and some of them safeties in that game on that second half, they just. I'm not going to say they shut off, but it was like, what you doing?
It's just like the whole pantomime that they always put on with their defense as well before they rock up to the game.
Yeah,
and they always get me G'd up for it, and then to go out and put that performance up was just embarrassing.
Yeah, and I think it was the deep catch to Hill that I can't even think who was on him or man marking him, but it was like you've got one job to do there, and it's just make sure he doesn't catch it. It's just like, oh yeah, he's caught it.
I think a little bit as well. I think a little bit as well with the Texans, they heavily rely on J.J. Watt's influence in the game.
Yeah,
and he was coming off the injury. They weren't even expecting him to play.
I was going to say he wasn't really
that pectoral injury. He wasn't meant to be in the game, and he was playing more than he should have. What condition he was at in that game is questionable. Opening game of the season, we'll probably see a different J.J. Watt, and he might wreck house, and then everyone will be going, "Oh, where was this last year?" And you'll realise that he was just hurt, which has been unfortunately the case for J.J. of late. But off what Nick was saying about getting your motivation back, a prime example of that, and I'm sorry to do this to you, Liam, but Carolina, they went 15-1.
I've been waiting because I was going to.
I was thinking it. I didn't want to throw you under, Liam, early on into the podcast.
I had it ready.
Why not?
I had it ready to give them as an example because it wasn't just Carolina, mate. It was Denver as well. They were the champs, and they the following season, I've got it in front of me now. They finished third in the AFC West the following season after winning the Super Bowl. So.
That was after Manning had left, wasn't it?
Exactly, yeah. But
I think
Carolina massively went to the Super Bowl at 15-1, to then massively regress the following season. I think we had a losing record that year as well, which I think is the first time. I'm pretty sure it was one of the first times in history at the time when that happened. A Super Bowl team had
then go on a losing record.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that the season after. After you went 15-1, you made it to the Super Bowl. I'm pretty sure that's the season as well where you opened up against Denver. In the next year.
Yeah, that's right.
Cam got lit up early doors, and that's the kind of thing I was talking about when I say like I actually feel like they might punch him in the mouth, like punch Kansas City in the mouth. Like, that's why the Texans, Kansas City could, like they might try and put on a show, and they might try things like. Because they've won already, like it's that hunger to win again, and it is a question of mentality. And they've got a great coach, Andy Reid. He's a great coach. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not a Kansas City fan. I don't know Kansas City, but Andy Reid's a great coach, and he has been for so long that he kind of deserved himself to win a Super Bowl. I think he's like the most winningest coach going into last season. He'd had the most wins as a coach to have not won a Super Bowl.
Wow.
Did that hurt? Did that
Wow.
hurt, Beeves?
No, because I can talk about Andy Reid. I can't talk about Kansas City. But
However,
I'm starting
there's
to
two
notice
now.
there's a lot of praise towards Kansas people other than Mahomes.
Basically.
well,
If
the only two
his
people.
name ain't Brady, he ain't interested.
That's it.
This is not true.
It's very true.
This is not true.
But
How
I
are you
agree.
gonna? You ain't gonna sit there and big up any of the quarterbacks you have to play against, are you?
James Winston.
Jesus.
Threat.
I said the quarterbacks you have to play against.
He'll be there.
Not Nate Burleson's fantasies. I've got no idea what Nate's been doing this week, but I'm questioning it. Questioning
agree.
massively.
It's I think boxing's the same, isn't it? Like Anthony Joshua is a prime example, and you think you got to have someone that's been on top, can't keep the motivation. Tyson Fury was there to keep 52 men on a roster with that sort of motivation. Like if you can't do it with one man, like struggling to do it with 52 must be a nightmare, absolute nightmare.
And the thing
Already
is,
got
as
the
well,
job
like,
done.
the thing is, well, with the success they've had in recent years, and then obviously to win the Super Bowl last year, they've added new players as well. I think it's a big thing for the team, like, because you're walking into the team and you're like, oh, we're the Super Bowl champs. You're already got that on your shoulder as well. We're the Super Bowl champs. The teams are coming in there to show you who they are. They're not going to be bothered about. So Kansas City, I think, we'll find out early doors about what they're made of.
Yeah, I agree. I do think they're going to be there again, though. Personally, I do.
They'll be a playoff team for sure.
You look at them and you can say, out of all the teams, likely they're probably the most likely to go undefeated. Do you?
Yeah, definitely.
Beaver, I know you don't like Mahomes.
I don't. No, do you know what, mate? It was the undefeated thing. Like going 16-0 in the NFL is tough.
That's what I mean. I'm not saying they will, and I don't think they will. But out of all the teams, if you say who's most likely going to do it, you're getting your money on Chiefs, aren't you?
I'm not sure that. I'm not sure. Like, for me, they're not more favourites to win the Super Bowl.
Who are yours again?
What to win the Super Bowl?
Yeah.
Saints, didn't they?
Did you say
I think the Saints. Yeah, I think the Saints are going to be one to watch. I think the Bucks will.
You're banned.
I think the Bucks.
Looking for a new member.
Also,
Anyone's interested?
The Bucks are going to be there or thereabouts. Brady's a winner, and he has a chip on his shoulder, and he's now got to prove himself.
However, that does bring us on to week one as well. Bucks versus the Saints, week one game. We're all looking forward to seeing it.
Saints put an absolute whopping on them.
Don't know how to respond to that because part of me thinks, well, it's more
Brady
than
gets
possible.
2 touchdowns, max.
Do you know what?
I think they're going to whop the Saints early doors, and I think they're going to put a beating on them, and people are going to get on the hype train. They're going to be like, the Bucks are going to go 16-0. They're not going to lose a game, and then they'll lose
the rest of them. 1-15.
No, but realistically, Carl, what do you actually believe the Bucks are going to go?
It's so tough. I think we're the biggest boom or bust team, aren't we, in the NFL right now? Like, it's either going to go really, really well, or it's just going to go wrong. Like, I don't think there's any kind of middle ground, personally. I think I mess about saying that we go 16-0. That's just banter, but then a really small part of me thinks, well, we could. But
mate, do you know what the thing is? Like, genuinely, Carl, about 2 seasons ago.
Every year, don't I? In the fantasy group, but this year, this is our year.
Oh my god!
No,
Although to be fair, you have finally got a quarterback that can deliver to the wide receivers that you've actually got talent on.
Wait, Liam, are you all right? You've just commented Tom
I know.
Brady.
Yeah, I know.
Fuck yeah.
I know.
Is the world about to end? Because I've commented on Lamar Jackson and Liam's commented on Brady. Like,
I feel like I'm in some sort of twilight zone here. I don't know what's going on.
I even meant it as well. What's wrong with me? Brady
Should we
shit,
tell-
I hate him. Nah, 0-16.
Do you want to tell the viewers what you usually say about him? No, we won't do that. It's juju, bad juju. Don't want that. I think, mate, I'll genuinely just be happy with the playoffs. Personally, I think that's. I don't want to get carried away. I think that's the next step. Like, mate, playoffs. But then saying that, I think they've gone all out. Like, if we don't win this year, then we're fucked, aren't we? Because we got players to pay as well, mate. Like,
Yeah.
our salary cap's going to start coming into play. We could end up going like the Dolphins in the next couple of years if we don't. Like, this is where we've got to push. If we don't win this year or next year, like, we ain't going to win in the next 5 years. No way. No way.
I'd agree with you got to win in the next year or two, and I think that's why you go boom or bust. Like, I mean, I've got so much love for Tom Brady. Like,
I thought he was about to say the Bucks.
He
then.
nearly said the Bucks. I saw it.
no, I was actually going to say for Brady, but like genuinely.
Because you said that and then changed it halfway.
No.
For Brady.
Well, for the quarterback, I was going to say the quarterback. Like, I was never going to mention the Bucks. Like, I ain't jumping on no bandwagon. Patriots through and through. Stidham's my guy. Stidham is my guy.
Fair enough.
Yeah,
But
the Bucks have invested in a win now.
Definitely. I think we'll. I think we'll lose against the Saints. I hate to say that.
Opening game
Yeah.
in New
I do.
Orleans.
I feel really shit saying that. I should be more support, but I'm being realistic. I do think we'll get beat. Just because every time we play them, like, regardless of what Brady can do, we always end up giving everyone gives Michael Thomas too much space. Like, we don't shut him down enough, like, at all. Our defense was brilliant, but the person that put up the most numbers last year was fucking Michael Thomas, and that's not going to change, I don't think, at all. Whether it's him or Jameis throwing the ball.
Jameis is, mate. What worries me is if Jameis was at the helm, you'd think you're going to win.
Huh?
If Jameis was your quarterback still, you'd actually think you're going to win. That's what I actually believe this.
I know what you mean.
Jameis Winston, but in the helm of the Saints, beats the Buccaneers.
What?
I
What are
don't
you talking?
disagree.
Are you drunk?
Yeah, but you got to understand.
He's still throwing it to Michael Thomas. He's still handing it off to Alvin Kamara.
Yeah, but that run defense of the Buccaneers is unbelievable.
Yeah, it is disgusting.
It's unbelievable. Like,
Alvin Kamara is a very, very good running back, and last year he was injured.
It's not
Yeah.
as good as McCaffrey.
oh, right, wow. Anyway,
I was going to say something, but he's the only one that we didn't shut. Well, we shut him down in the first game.
Yeah.
Not the second one.
Yeah.
no, but the second one
No,
was
I think-
you were handing it man 20 yards from goal. So
Yeah, that's true.
I think,
anyway, stop
week one, though,
beating them.
I do think that the difference this year with the Bucks, though, is that when you have got that, if you do have the lead against the Saints, you've got Brady who will manage you through.
Manage it, yeah.
He 100% he'll get you through to the end of the game with a win. That's the difference between him and Jameis. As much as I think he's hilarious, but yeah, 100%. If you're in the fourth quarter and you're winning, 100%, you'll most likely see out the game with a victory. Personally.
Yeah, he's not going to put us in a position to turn the ball over.
Exactly.
Twice.
He's a very smart man, is Tom Brady. And again, why am I doing this? Why am I complimenting him?
You drunk?
Oh,
You're drunk.
Because you know. But no, seriously, Carl, will you stop beating around the bush now? I want your prediction. I asked for it.
What, in terms
Deliver.
of record?
Yeah.
10-6.
I agree.
Wow, you think Brady's going to lose 6 games? Wow.
Look, I'm being conservative there. Like, really, I've told you in the back of my mind, I keep saying 16-0. But everyone's laughing at me. But
who's on your
I'm just
schedule that
saying
you
10
think you're
and 6
going to
to be
lose to,
safe.
though?
Pardon?
Who's on your schedule that you think you're going to lose to?
Saints.
Week 1.
Twice.
Saints week 6. Whenever you play them again.
Yeah. I think we'll lose to the Vikings.
KC week 12.
I think we'll lose to the Vikings. Who Who else?
Atlanta.
Nah, I'm not scared of those bitches. Um,
Chargers.
potentially. This
Panthers
sounds
week
really.
10.
Pardon?
Panthers week 10.
No, I do think that we'll.
Carolina.
I do think that we'll lose one of those. They'll just. I can't give you any particular reason. It's just something that happens a lot. It's one of those things like the Pats and the Dolphins. I just think we'll lose to you at some point. Probably at the Panthers, like you say. What was that, 5?
Oh yeah, I was just wanting to know what sort of team you think like are gonna beat you. Like that wasn't like I weren't asking for you to name all 6. Like I was just
I'm
getting an
not
idea.
overly worried about anyone. Like saying we're definitely going to lose, other than probably the Saints. Like they're the only.
You ain't getting turned over. Let's be honest.
No.
If you lose, it'll be close.
But again, with the Vikings, it depends how our run defense is again this year. Because I'm only really bothered about Dalvin Cook, to be fair.
No, you're not worried about Thielen and Jefferson.
Jefferson, not so much yet. So I think like.
Hey,
that might change by the time he comes
Yeah.
to play them.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You never know.
Absolutely.
What week you got the Vikings?
It's quite late on as well, isn't it?
Yeah. It's,
Yeah, you'll know
it's
about Justin
December,
Jefferson by then.
13th of December. we got
14.
him.
Week 14.
Great day that is. Week 13th of December. Great day.
Is that your birthday?
It is, mate. Yeah,
Fair
the
enough.
big 30.
Oh, damn.
Wow.
Another one in the club.
Wow. I'm the only 30-year-old.
You're the sole occupier of 30 right now.
I know Nick's a new dad, like, but that don't make him 30.
Fair enough.
Nope. Still 27.
Ooh.
You young bastard.
So,
Anyway,
Realistically, 10-6. If you want a
10 and-
stupid prediction, I'm saying 16-0.
Worst case?
Worst case is 10-6.
That's your worst case.
Worst case is 10.
You think your worst case is 10-6?
Yeah.
100% their worst case is 10-6.
Silence.
being a divisional rival, as
Nick's
much as it
laughing at
pains
me.
me to,
Fucking hell.
it pains me to say,
Got
it,
deluded.
looking at your schedule,
I've been deluded ever since I supported him.
It sums up you being a Newcastle fan, by the way.
Piss off.
Oh, man. That is good.
I genuinely think you're going to go 12-4.
Just say it, 16-0. I've said it.
I think you'll go 12-4.
Oh! What?
Mate, I know what that QB does, mate.
Oh.
And look at the weapons he's got.
Don't write our defence off either, Nicklaus.
Sue's a
Mate,
monster.
Devon White would have got Rookie of the Year last year if he didn't get injured. Defensive Rookie of the Year, I'm telling
What
you.
did you go last year, Carl?
We finished at 7-9.
And the geezer threw 30 interceptions. And your
Come
team
on,
has got...
we comfortably give 4 of those away. Like, you can watch it back and say we give 4 of those away.
49ers.
Giants.
Yep.
Saints. We were fucking battering the Saints. Jameis was battering them.
And
then
then
he
you
went
throw them
silly.
to them.
And then the Falcons at the end of the season.
You know, actually, looking back, I think I might be being a bit too harsh on the Books.
No, it's fine.
what in?
You've done it now. It's fine.
What
Can't
in?
take it
I
back.
don't, yeah. Do you know what? It probably was harsh, but I'm not taking it back.
Good man.
Nick's just realised. Nick's like, Brady's there. I don't like him. I'm not having it. I'm not respecting it. I don't want them to be successful. But they're going to be successful.
I don't have to like someone to appreciate how good they are.
No. So what I'll do, I'll just give a quick rundown of the schedule for anyone that's a new book supporter that's watching us. Let me just get it up. So
that's what he said.
Good
I'm so
timing.
good help it.
Good timing. I keep saying I'm gonna start that again. I'm starting that again tonight. Week 1, got the Saints. Week 2, we're at the Panthers. We got the Panthers at home. Week 3, we have Denver. 4, the Chargers. Week 5 is the Bears. Week 6, Packers. Week 7, Raiders. Week 8, the Giants. Week 9, the Saints. Week 10, Panthers. Week 11, who we got? The Rams. They changed their logo.
The Rams, yeah.
Yeah,
I
mate.
don't
Yeah.
even pay attention to that.
It's
It
LA
looks
now,
really
mate.
bad, doesn't it?
Yeah, it looks
It's really
horrible.
bad. It just says LA, mate.
It looks a bit like a basketball, kind of
It's ugly.
college basketball logo. Week 12, the Chiefs, they didn't even think of, there's obviously a potential loss there. There's a sixth. Vikings, week 14, week 15, the Falcons, week 16, Detroit, and week 17, the Falcons again. So, yeah. My potential losses would be the Saints, one of the Panthers games, Saints again, Kansas, and the Vikings. That's where I think we'll get beat. Everyone else is getting dicked down by Tampa.
I think Tampa Brady will be surprising you, Carl.
Well, if we go
I just don't
16
see
and
it.
0, I won't be surprised. I'll tell everyone I always knew it was going to happen. Moving on from the Bucks. Who wants to go now? We got the Pats. The
Keep it
Seahawks,
divisional.
or the Panthers.
Keep it divisional. Let's go to Carolina.
Over to Carolina.
Especially with the fact, sorry, Liam. Especially with the fact we've just started high end of the scale. Let's go to the low end now.
Oh,
I've got nothing to say to that. I can't even say anything back to that right now. Oh. Right, moving on.
Back to Seattle. I'm joking.
Yeah, 0. Nah. We're definitely in for a tough season. I'll admit that. We're rebuilding. We've got new head coach, new coordinators on defense and on offense. So it's going to be. It really is. It's going to be a tough season. I mean, I know we're one of the favourites to have one of the worst records this year. I personally, I think we will finish anything between 3 and 13, and up to anything, probably at 5 and 11, something like that. Anything higher than, in my opinion, that's a massive win. I mean, there's winnable games on our schedule.
I'm just going to butt in here a sec. Sorry. Just quickly. Haven't they added a game this year to the fixtures? Or is it next year?
Next year. It's next year, I think.
Well, count the fixtures up. You've got them in front of you, Carl.
Yeah, it was. I'm sure just counted out 16.
16.
Yeah, it's next year.
Is it next year, though?
Yeah.
Next year they're adding a game. Sorry,
No.
I just wanted to...
Yeah.
Yeah, it's next year.
Make sure our predictions are correct.
Yeah, I didn't want to... I didn't want anyone mugging us off and just going, there's 17 games this year, dickheads.
Good podcast, Nat.
Yeah. Going 10 and 6, are we? Not right.
Now, looking at our fixtures, I mean, we open against Las Vegas, so that could. We're at home.
I expect you to bop
I would, yeah. That to me is a win, and then we follow on against.
I think you're underestimating the Raiders there.
Yeah, I mean,
I do and I don't. But the only reason I'm giving us a win there is because we're at home. That is it.
I don't see you stopping Josh Jacobs.
I don't know. Well,
I feel like I'm just putting Liam down here. Like every time he starts to get going, I'm just stumbling him. I'm like, sorry, Liam. I'm sorry, man. Liam, I'm going to stop now. I'm just going to stop, Liam.
Can we rewind to 2015?
Edit.
Liam, I'm just looking at it. I don't see where your first win is.
Wow. Jeez.
I mean,
Raiders,
depending
not
on
sure.
Bucks, no, definitely not. Chargers, at the Chargers, probably not. God knows who the hell knows about the Arizona at this point. Otherwise, I'd say.
Oh, you ain't beating Arizona. Andre Hopkins is going to be open.
Falcons week 5.
I think that's
At home against week 6 against Chicago, maybe.
Yeah.
With Nick Foles at QB, that's going to be a different team. That defense is still there, and Nick Foles is at QB. Different team of the Bears.
If not, then
Let
week
him
7.
say who he thinks he's going to get it from, and then tell him out, like, dig him out after.
Right, so I see us win against the Raiders, potential win against Cardinals, win against Chicago, win at home against the Lions. And that's it. Oh, and hopefully we'll win against the Redskins week 16.
Yeah, you
There's my-
should be there.
There's my five wins.
Eddie Quirk's going to be so disappointed with your comment, Carl.
No,
He is.
We
He has already
I don't
been.
know why I'm apologising. If anyone doesn't like what I'm saying, I don't care. Okay, this is what's going
Also,
down.
we haven't lost against the Redskins since 2011, so
Yeah,
Fuck the
that means it's
Redskins, they're
due to
getting
happen.
beat.
And that's week 16.
Yep.
So your guarantee win
It's the last
week 16.
I'm guaranteed a win week 16. All the other wins I've said, I'm on the fence about.
I'll tell you what, right?
Well, but that's why I said we can go anything from 3-13 all the way up to 5-11. We are on. This year is going to be massive.
Even though they're rebuilding.
Such a difficult season. Yeah, we've still got a lot of weapons still, which I think I reckon we will surprise a few teams later on in the year. The first half of the season, I don't think we'll offer much because everyone's still going to be gelling. But our defense is. There's a lot of gaps, especially on the in cornerback. But if we can improve on in the cornerback position, whilst free agency is still open. I mean, I've been hearing this link with Logan Ryan. I'd take him as our slot cornerback or our outside cornerback, whichever. But I think we're building the front four on our defense that will be solid with Derek Brown especially.
Derek Brown's a hunter.
Exactly, and I think on offense, we've got McCaffrey. He's gonna get touches galore, and then we've got someone like Robbie Anderson who can take the lid off people. We've got DJ Moore who's just been improving year on year. Curtis Samuel who's fighting for an extension because he's now will be playing his final year of his contract, so he's got a lot to prove. The only position on offense I'm worried about is tight end, but we've got an up and coming tight end. We picked some up in undrafted as well, so I think we will surprise a few teams, but not until later in the year once things are starting to gel, and that's where I think we will start to pick up the odd winner here or there. I'm realistic. I am expecting us to struggle as a whole, hence the 3-13 or 5-11. But on the whole, I think you'll see a much improved Carolina as the season goes on.
I think looking at Carolina, like, especially with Matt Rule's record of turning around places, like I think he's got a plan together. I think Bridgewater will surprise you because I know you're not big on Bridgewater. But
I am, but I'm not. I don't think. For me, I like him, but he's not the long term. He's not a long term solution. That's what it is.
Do you think we were talking about surprises, and you have got a few weapons? Could you get a winning record?
Don't think the defense is good enough. That's what I was about to jump onto.
You know what? I think it's the offensive line that's not good enough. I don't think we'll be put in a position to score as much as I would like us to.
I
if we don't score points, then because I think our defense will be what you'll see the biggest improvement in, more so than the offense.
See, on the opposite, I actually think you'll have a better offense than you will, and your defense will be terrible. I think that's where you'll lose games. Is your defense, you won't be able to cover. I think your DBs aren't good enough. Like if you can pick Logan Ryan up, that's big.
Yeah.
But
100%. If we can address cornerback, may sway me a little bit in our defensive potential. But as of right now, we will struggle on defense. And I would 100% agree with you. If we address the cornerback situation, then I can probably.
I just think Kuechly's too big a person to lose.
Oh yeah, he's a huge loss.
And that's where I feel like you're going to get exposed, especially by the Bucs in your division. Brady's going to utilise the running backs. That's what he does best. Mm-hmm. So, and especially you ain't got a linebacker that's going to be able to cover tight end. OJ Howard's going to be open. Gronk could be open. You've then got problems across the board. Then, and I think that linebacker spot without Kuechly is a massive hole, and people will exploit that because you got to expect somebody's got to step up.
Oh, 100%. And we picked up what's his name, Jeremy Chin, who's They compared him a lot to oh my Christ, I forgot his name already. Simmons, who went to Cardinals. In terms of he can play anywhere type player, and it is going to be really interesting to see what our defensive scheme is going to be next year, because I can see the way that they were drafting is get aggression. They've drafted aggression. Every player they picked is aggressive. So it's going to be interesting to see where they go. And they've got a few, the later round picks certainly are kind of like Swiss Army knives, I suppose. So they're not just limited to one position. So I am intrigued. Again, I go back to, as the season goes on, I'm intrigued to see how things improve and develop on the defensive side of things anyway. But I'm not looking forward to the offense. It's the O-line. The O-line is trash. Absolute trash.
Fair enough. Very good summary. I think you could. I don't know. I always find it, even though we're rivals, I always find it tough to write you off. So I just can't see you being as bad as everyone's predicted. Personally,
I mean, yeah, I see where you're coming from. You know, between us and the Saints, since we have been the NFC South, as it's been known, the Saints and the Carolina have dominated the division. The odd time Tampa has won it, and then the odd time Atlanta has won it. But overall, it's been dominated by Carolina and New Orleans. So
yeah.
But nah, we're done.
No, that's fine. After that little debacle, we'll move on over to Seattle, to Mr. Hales, who is predicting 16-0 as well, I think, wasn't it, mate?
No, I'm not deluded like that.
Yeah, talk us through your schedule and your predictions then, mate. Don't be afraid. 16-0 is a good number.
Do you want a prediction first, then run through?
Whatever you want, mate.
I said before, I think we'd go 11-5. I think we're actually going to go. I think we could go 12-4.
Is that a realistic number?
I'd put the beers down, mate. I'd put the beers back down.
I think we can go 12-4. I put it like I think we're either going to go 12-4 or 7-9. I don't think we've got a middle ground in it. No, I do. I just keep looking. I keep looking at the team. Keep looking at the fixtures. Falcons opening game, we win that. Falcons are trash. I think we beat you, Beaver. Prime time. Sunday night football. We beat you. We beat the Cowgirls. Then when we go to the Dolphins, we beat them. Vikings.
That could be
maybe.
Your first loss. I reckon you could go undefeated.
We could potentially lose to the Vikings. Then we're on a bye. Then we got the divisional game at the Cardinals. We're at their place. I will make my confirmed decision on the two Cardinals games after watching their first game.
That's what I said earlier.
Yeah, I do take that. But I think we beat them. I do think we beat them. 49ers. We were close to beating them twice last year. We were very close to beating them twice last year. I think it's the other way around now. I think we lose at our place against them, and I think we beat them at their place last game of the season. And I think that might be because they might already be pretty much there. They might have the division wrapped up by then, potentially. No. I just think we're going to do them. No, because we're going to win. We're going to win the division. Then we go to the Bills.
That's tough.
I think that's tougher than probably what we're probably putting out. And we always lose to someone random. And I think that might be the random team. I think we beat Rams both at home and away. And then at the Eagles, I don't like the look of the Eagles. I could see us losing at the Eagles. And I think then we've got the Giants, Jets and Redskins. I don't think we win all three of them. We'll lose one of them. I don't know what it is. Then we'll go and beat the Rams and 49ers last game, 2 games.
But I might have miscounted, but I think I had that like 13-3, or did I miscount that?
I've got 1, 2, 3.
I actually thought the way it was going on, I was counting 15-1.
No, I'm going. We'll lose to the Vikings.
Okay.
Even though we're at home, I think we'll lose to the. I think we will lose to the 49ers at our place.
Yeah, 12 and 4.
I think
just
we'll
can't
lose
agree.
Yeah.
to the Eagles. Then I think we'll lose one of the Giants, Jets, or Redskins. We've just got it in us to lose one of those games. And the thing with us is, if everyone's fit, I think that 12 and 4 is comfortably achievable. But we always get battered with injuries.
I don't see you going into your losing record that you predicted. I don't see that. Russell Wilson's not going to get a losing record.
Yeah, no,
I don't.
that's
I
just
don't
me being a bit silly. Just being a bit silly. No, I honestly do. I think we've got 12 and 4 in us comfortably. Injuries depending.
Yeah, I can see that. I actually do like Seattle. I think they're a good team. Their offense starts slow, though. It always has done.
Yeah, that's it. But we've changed it up. We've obviously got this new system in place to try and counteract this very slow start, to literally give Russ that license, basically, to just fucking run the plays from the start, using that initiative a bit more and just giving Russ the freedom to do what he wants, as opposed to really playing strictly to the textbook, I think. And that's the only reason why I think we've brought in this. Like I said to you boys before, I think we've opened up a position of like game pass coordinator position or something.
I was just going to ask, are you the only team in the NFL that's got that?
Don't even know.
No.
Never heard of them before. All I know is our quarterback coach is obviously, I think it's our quarterback coach has been promoted to it. And then, yeah. So it's one of them. But like I say, literally we could get 2 injuries, Dwayne Brown again, and like Chris Carson, and then I'm talking about a completely different season.
My look at the Seahawks, and this is the thing that I think the Seahawks' biggest question is going to be. I actually don't think it is going to be the offense this year. My question is the defense. Because if you don't sign Clowney, because you haven't got the deal done yet, Clowney's a problem. He's a defensive monster. You don't sign Clowney, there is a lot of responsibility on them young kids to go after it.
I completely agree. And I've been reading loads into it, and I've read quite a few things now that worryingly are saying that we actually don't have the cap space for Clowney.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Haven't they been trying to get him to take a bit of a pay cut so they could re-sign him or something like that?
He's that playing the season. He's just the one season card, isn't he, that we're playing with him. I'd still rather see us go against Yannick Ngakoue, that I don't think, by the looks of it, I don't think we're going to be able to afford him. And I think the Jags want quite a lot for him as well, don't they? Which I don't think we've got, one, the cap space or the actual real investment to trade to him, because
they're going to be trash.
It's not like we can't trade.
Well, you might as well give him your first pick for next year, because you never seem to use it.
I know, yeah, but then again, we might come out my way saying that the first pick this year, the Jordan Brooks, is a hell of a pick. So who knows? But yeah, I'm kind of with you on that, Beeves. That the defense, there's a lot of questions around the defense, but we've still got Bobby Wagner, so things can happen when he's in the team.
I like McDougal as well.
Yeah, mate, I'm a big fan of Bradley McDougal as well. And like, yeah, Quandre Diggs. Yeah, we've not got a bad team, but yeah, I still think that our season is the injury side on our offense. And that's where it's going to be, and I do think that DK Metcalf's going to go off this year.
Yeah, I do as well.
I think we're going to see massive numbers from him this year.
Sophomore slump, I see.
Oh, Beaver. It's
always got to be someone.
What I found interesting as well is none of us expect to beat the Vikings. Do we think they're going to be that good?
The Vikings are always pretty good.
I know they're always pretty good, but like we're all saying we're going to lose to them. Like,
the Vikings are weird. The Vikings are a weird team because the last few seasons they've had like a really stacked team, and everyone's been like, "Well, the Vikings," and they've got to have very, very good head coach. But the thing with the Vikings is, and this is what I've taken from the Vikings, is nobody believes in Kirk Cousins.
My missus, to be fair, she's become very au fait with NFL. Obviously, being a Vikings fan and having all of us twats around her. She literally, the one person that she blames is Kirk Cousins, and her reason is that he makes poor decisions when he's under pressure. I thought, you
It's
know what?
mighty nice, isn't it?
Before, I thought she's right. To be fair, she's probably right. Like
I think
he holds on to the ball too long and he makes bad decisions when he's under pressure. But
I
I'm not
think
saying he's a
Kirk
bad
Cousins.
quarterback because he's not.
I think Kirk Cousins was picked on last year. I think he's been picked on his whole career. The Redskins
He
should have
was definitely
signed him
made to be a bit of a
deal.
scapegoat. Definitely.
When they lost that game to the 49ers last year, everyone was like, "Oh, Cousins didn't do enough. Cousins didn't do enough." They forgot that Dalvin Cook carried the ball 9 times for 18 yards. Like, no quarterback is successful without a good enough run game. You can't be gunslinging it. It don't work. If you become predictable, you've got no hope. You got no hope. And unfortunately, that's what it became for. That's what it became for Cousins in that game. Whereas he's getting rushed from every angle. That front seven of the 49ers is a joke. They're frightening. But I think that Kirk Cousins was picked on a lot, and it was not warranted. I think he's a very, very good quarterback, and I think he gets a lot of stick. I mean, everyone questions the contract he signed. Everyone questions why he went to the Vikings, and he's won games for them, and everyone just goes on about everyone else. That game when they beat the Saints in New Orleans last year, he was sensational.
It was unreal. Yeah, it was.
They've only gave the Vikings 2 primetime games this year, and one of them's against us. So clearly, whoever's making that decision doesn't rate their chances this year.
Don't worry, mate. We've got 1 primetime game.
I wouldn't even give you that.
No, mate. It's a Thursday night game against Atlanta.
I'd give you 16 just to watch you get beat every week.
No, but everyone gets a Thursday night game, Liam, so that don't even count you as special. The ordinary. You're like the Bengals, mate. You're like the Bengals now.
Just as well we got Game Pass, lads. That's all we're saying.
Beaver, you've done me dirty there.
Oh, mate. I've had you tonight. I've had you tonight. I'm sorry. I'm a little bit sorry anyway. No, I'm not fully sorry.
It's fine now because we're moving on to Beeves and the patch schedule. So now you can dig him as much as you want because we all know he's going to overshoot what he thinks is going to happen, and Liam disagrees, which is fine. So get your guns ready, boys.
I like the fact you said Liam disagrees, but realistically, you're loading the gun yourself.
Yeah. Correct.
Personally, I genuinely believe the Patriots will go 11-5. I genuinely.
Why did you
believe
pause
this.
then?
I genuinely believe. I was waiting for somebody to just butt in. To be honest,
I'm gonna let you do your analysis. Then I'm gonna go and say my piece.
Liam's making notes.
I think we'll go 11-5.
I was genuinely coughing that I wasn't taking the piss. Sorry.
We'll beat Miami opening game for a fact. What people are going to say is, "Oh yeah, but you lose to Miami every." Yeah, we did lose to Miami every year, but not to a rookie quarterback. We don't lose to rookie quarterbacks. Belichick's record against rookie quarterbacks is sensational.
But didn't you lose to Tannehill?
Yeah. No. You didn't hear what I said. Rookie quarterbacks.
Yeah,
beat Belichick's defense.
But you lost to Tannehill.
Yeah, not for the first time. I've lost to Tannehill many a time.
You have literally got nothing to say to that.
we lose to Tannehill. We lost once a year to Tannehill when he was in Miami.
He's got 20 seconds in and we've done it already.
I'm genuine.
First game we've done him.
Because we lost to Tannehill. We lost to Tannehill once a year. Look, I was just waiting for you to make a point about Tannehill being bad. But he's just, he's just took a job off someone else. He took him to the AFC Championship game. I mean, off the back of Derrick Henry. But we lost to Tannehill once a year, every year when he was in Miami. It was the thing. Like there was always a game when we went to Miami, we were losing.
So I'm not saying that the comment about the rookie quarterback that you're never losing is like redundant or anything, but I'm just saying it puts it in context, doesn't it?
Yeah, we lost
Like,
to Tannehill.
fair enough, you don't lose to a rookie quarterback, but you do lose to Tannehill.
Yeah, but Tannehill, he's not a rookie. Like rookie quarterbacks, the record for Belichick is ridiculous. Like,
Yeah, I know. I'm just messing.
and we've had some of the top ones. Like Mahomes came to us his rookie year, got beat. Watson came to us, put on a show, got beat. It's one of them. Like rookies, Belichick, his defense doesn't lose against that. Like, and I think our defense is going to be as good as last year's. We've lost some pieces we lost a big piece in Van Noy, and we've lost a couple of other pieces in Jamie Collins going to the Lions as well, which are big. But I think we'll have a solid defense this year. People will be surprised on what we're like on offense. Stidham will be a game manager. Will run the ball a lot. Sonny Michel will probably have a good year, I believe. I think he's got to have a good year, but I also think we franchise tagged one of our guards. Got to keep hold of him, and we have to run the ball well. I think Stidham will be there for game management situations. He won't turn the ball over a lot, and will beat teams based on that. I don't think. While I think the Bills picking up Stephon Diggs is big, I don't think they're better than us still. And I think they were the only team in our division that were knocking on the door, but they can't get the big win. You know what I mean? They have to come to our building and beat us to move on, and they can't do that. Like they've shown that last year. I mean, I know we lost to Miami last year, but the week before, the Bills coming in, and they're like, oh, we're here, we're there, and then we just beat them anyway. And we beat them in their own building. It's one of them. I do actually think the Bills will take one off us this year. I think we'll lose in Buffalo. We will lose to Kansas City. We will lose to the Ravens. And
You'll lose to the Ravens?
Yeah, we'll lose to the Ravens, yeah.
How?
Lamar Jackson.
I think their defense is going to be next level this year. The addition of Calais Campbell is frightening.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
I'm quite
frightening.
I feel like that went under the radar a bit as well.
Yeah.
Not a lot spoke about that.
No, but Calais Campbell will be a threat. We'll beat Seattle.
No, he won't.
We'll beat Seattle. Seattle's offense will start slowly, as always. Their defense isn't that good. So I think Seattle will walk into Seattle and we'll leave with a win.
You won't.
I'll tell you who actually I think we might lose to. Arizona might surprise us. I think their offense will cause us a little bit of problems because we do struggle with a scrambling quarterback, especially one that will run like Kyler will. That's what cost us against Baltimore last year. Was we couldn't stop Jackson running on us. I think we will struggle with that.
Is that what you hate?
No. Nah. I don't like him because, look, I don't like that all he does is run. I don't think he's that good a thrower the ball. That's the truth about it. I think he's like a better version of Cam Newton, where he goes off for a season and then he will get hurt.
Liam, I hope you're taking notes.
No, but like what I mean in that sense is like Cam had his MVP year. They went to the Super Bowl, and then where did he go? He got hurt every season after that because he was a runner, and then he got hit a lot. And runners get hit. People start taking cheap hits. Like it's one of them where the situation is if Lamar Jackson takes a big hit in a game, if he gets a hit in the head, concussed, there's a game gone. He's out for the next game as well. And RG3, Wally, RG3 ain't going to come in and win you a game. And you lose Lamar Jackson for a week, and then you lose the flow, and people start getting at each other, and then they stop him running a bit more. And for me, you have to pick it. That's what my problem is and that was always my problem with Cam. Cam was a good athlete, but when you can't run, you have to be good at throwing, and Cam wasn't.
Just out of interest, what do you consider a quarterback? What's a good amount of yards for him to throw in a year?
No, I'm
This
talking like.
is a trap.
Oh,
I know exactly what's happening here.
yeah.
It's a trap.
But no, but if you want to talk about, if you want to,
Abort.
yards mean nothing though. Yards mean
Retreat.
yards.
People
Generally,
retreat.
What's a good completion rate? Would you say?
no, but generally, like.
Either do not enter into
No,
conversation.
hold on. Let me get to my point. Right? Let me get to my
Answer the
point.
question. Answer the question.
Jameis Winston has led the league in passing yards. What does that mean? Nothing.
That's why I went to completion rate percentage.
No, but like, what I'm saying is like,
Answer the question.
I'm trying. You're not letting me.
I'm letting you.
No, but like, do you know who the like when they talk about a mobile quarterback, right, and they say, oh, Lamar Jackson can do this running and all this sort of stuff. Do you know who the best mobile quarterback is? Russell Wilson. By a distance, he ain't even close.
Yeah,
do you know why?
comfortably.
Because Russell Wilson runs when it's necessary and when it's smart to. He doesn't run every play. He runs and he's throwing. He's exceptional. He puts the ball where the receivers. He throws receivers open. Carson Wentz can run and do the same. Like the problem is when the game is based on just them running. If they get dinged up and they can't run anymore, can they still win the game from just throwing? And I don't believe Lamar Jackson, and it was the same with Cam Newton, I don't believe they can do that. And Russell Wilson can do that. But we've got off my fixtures here. We've got off my Patriots here.
You still haven't answered the question, though.
What?
What do you consider to be a good completion rate?
Anything from 65% and above.
Okay.
And I know Liam's going to say that Lamar Jackson's was above that.
Yep.
Yeah, just interested to know what it was in comparison with his passing yards.
66.1% passing completion with
What a skin of a teeth.
3,000 skin of his teeth.
3,127 yards and a passing rating of 113.3.
The yardage is low, though, isn't it?
The
The
yeah, but like
yardage is low.
yeah,
So that kind of
right.
proves the point in terms of how much he runs the ball.
And he ran the ball for 1,206 yards.
He ran that
Pretty
more.
mad, isn't it?
He ran that more than our running backs did combined. Our
Well,
committee of running backs.
Yeah,
At the same time, though, obviously that offense is built around his style of game, like Carolina's with Cam Newton run it. So you know what? Whilst he's got it as a strength, use it. Do you know what I mean?
No. But I'm not saying that. I'm not saying they shouldn't use it. But what I'm saying is when it's got to the big games and he's played in the playoffs. What's Lamar Jackson's rating in the playoff, Liam? What's his completion percentage in the playoffs?
Have a look. See if I can find it.
Like, how good's he been in them games?
Well, it's relative to how he's developed through college, though, isn't it? Because at the end of the day, he was at Louisville,
Yeah.
I mean, I can't think off the top of my head, so apologies for anyone that might do. But I don't think he had anyone that he was throwing to. He was a one-man band, and he was an awesome one-man band, and he's just developed as that style of quarterback, hasn't he?
Yeah, 100%. And I 100% right. I get utilising his running out and stuff like that. But what I'm saying is, like, people are so high on Lamar Jackson. But in the big game, he's played 2 playoff games. I think he's played 2 anyway. It might be 3.
One in 2018 when he came in towards the end of the year, and then one
when they got whacked by the Chargers in their own building, and then they played again last year at home to the Tennessee Titans, who admittedly came in and beat New England, but we ran them close. The Tennessee Titans put a whopping on them because he didn't run the ball that well in the game, and he couldn't throw. In the big moments, like this is why Russell Wilson is the step above everyone else. Because when it came down to it, Russell Wilson could make the throw. Like to the one he made to Malcolm Butler.
Oh, I'm leaving. See you later.
No, but that's my problem about Lamar.
Just give it to Lynch. Just give it to him.
To be fair, he in the playoff game last year against Titans, he threw for 365 yards in that game.
Mm-hmm.
I think
how many touchdowns?
What would be interesting is to see Lamar Jackson.
That's a lot of yards for no.
What would be interesting to see?
touchdown.
Look at Lamar Jackson if he was the Browns quarterback.
Yeah,
he would be a gun quarterback at the Browns.
Well, see, now I don't agree there because I actually think if you're looking at the Baltimore Ravens, that O line is frightening. That O line is ridiculous. Like, and they're going to have to make adjustments this year because Marshall Yonder's retired. So,
Anyway, do you want to go
I
back
don't
to
know.
your schedule?
yeah,
Let you
I'd
go
quite
back
like to go back to my
the-
schedule now because I've shut you down now about your Lamar Jackson comments because he's like played two playoff games at home and lost both. Done with that one. We'll go back to the Patriots. I think Stidham is literally going to be a man manager this year, and I think it's going to be about not creating turnovers. And Josh McDaniels is a great offensive coordinator. He's going to make so many schemes and plans, and we're good with trick plays. Edelman will be throwing the ball, and stuff like that will happen. Our O-line is going to still be good. I actually think our defense is going to be one of the top defenses again in the league, as it has been. We've got the number one corner in the league. Gilmore is locked down. Gilly Island isn't a place you want to visit. And I think that's where we're going to be really good is we'll create a lot of turnovers again, as we have done. It'd be interesting. I'm hoping Dante Hightower can stay fit as well this year. But for me, the Patriots will be 11-5. At worst case, I can see us going 9-7. I don't see us having a losing record. And I can see us winning our division.
Bold statement. Do you think?
I disagree.
Do you think the loss of Brady will have an effect on people like Gilly though?
Nah, well, I think it has an effect on some people, but because of the way that we're built and the way we've always been, it's always been next man up. That's what it's been. Like, do your job, next man up. Like, Gilly's going to be thinking to himself, I'm still the best cornerback in this league. You ain't going to score on me. Like, it's, for me, that the team isn't just about one player. While Brady was a leader, the leaders are still there in your Devin McCourtys and your Hightowers. They're still there. Edelman's still there. Like, we're going to be set up, and it's about them like getting their arm around Stidham and going, "You're the guy now. You're our guy." And it's how he handles that really. Of like the problem you've got is you're looking to fill some big boots. The geezer won 6 rings, but what Stidham's got to realise is he doesn't need to come in to fill Brady's boots. What he needs to come in and play his game.
No,
And
I
if he
agree.
can,
But do you not think like losing two massive characters like Gronk and Brady in the manner that they did, because it hasn't been hostile, but like there's not, it hasn't also been amicable between them and Belichick really, like so.
which
Do you
might
think
help.
Yeah, it might, but that because you don't know whether they had a bit of a toxic influence in the dressing room to a certain extent. You don't know, but
Don't
it
get
could
me wrong.
also be
Like,
the opposite way. I don't know. They might look at it and
losing.
think, well, they've gone, so what? I might fucking go. Do you know what I mean?
To be honest, with the Patriots, mate, it don't matter who you are. If you go, you go. I mean, we've done it before. We traded Jamie Collins to the Browns a couple of years ago when he was probably the best linebacker in the league, and we just went, nah, if you want to, because he wanted to get paid, and so we just went, all right, Browns, you can have him, and we just took Bacavius Mingo, who we only kept for the rest of that season, and we traded him, did our business. And then 2 years later, he'd come back after he'd been paid. Didn't really do a lot of the Browns. Hadn't really heard of him. Come back to the Patriots, looked amazing again. And now he's gone and got paid by the Detroit Lions. We're not a team that pays big money, really. Losing Brady, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. That's a terrible loss for us because he's a winner. Like, but I still believe enough in Belichick, and I still believe in our offensive coordinators. And I think they see something in Stidham, and it ain't this. Like, Belichick is not going to tank a season. There ain't no way he's tanking the season. And if he believes we've got enough to win in the way we've gone about our business, I think that people will be surprised about what Patriots do, what Patriots you see. But yeah, for me, that's what I can see happening. Is I don't see us. I can see us making the playoffs, but I don't see us winning the playoff game.
So what did you go with record wise? Sorry,
11-5, mate.
11-5. Cool. Yeah, that essentially wraps up our predictions for our respective teams. Is there any other games that you wanted to jump into that we're looking forward to next season?
We've got a few, haven't we, really?
Yeah.
I know we touched on Kansas City and the Texans week 1. I know we touched on the Bucks and the Saints week 1, but there's a couple of others that we kind of discussed before we went on
Yep.
air. So, what was it? Week 3, Kansas City again, and the Baltimore Ravens.
Don't really know what to say about that. Like, I'm looking. I think we're all looking forward to it, aren't we? Aren't we? Lamar and
Don't think Beaver is.
Patrick. Well, yeah.
Oh,
To be fair,
yeah.
he's probably looking at
Mahomes
that, waiting
versus
for someone to
Lamar.
get injured.
I'm really. I'm actually looking forward to
Pieces
watching
off
it.
that
I
week.
will. I am actually going to look. I am looking forward to watching that game. I'm really interested to see the Baltimore defense this year. They're always there or thereabouts in turnovers. They're always a top 10 defense. And adding Calais Campbell is a massive, massive moment. It's a massive moment because he is a monster. He's a quarterback hunter.
He's a
And
good guy as well, isn't he?
I mean, I don't personally know him, but
I mean, based on his the Walter Payton Man of the Year award thing, he's clearly does a lot.
No, yeah, and he's somebody that's
You dick, by the way. I'm really slow that was by me, but yeah, you're a dick.
I just didn't know I didn't know what to say. You just walked into it. I was like, I'm sorry, but no.
Jesus.
But yeah, the Baltimore Ravens defense is something I'm really eager to see this year. I think they've always been a good defense.
Almost like defense versus offense, isn't it? We know KC's offense is
Yeah.
explosive, and as you said, I think the Ravens' defense is better than their offense as a whole. So it feels offense versus defense that week. Anyway.
I actually look at this. I actually look at the Baltimore Ravens defense, and I actually think to myself, it's set up a bit like Seattle's was for the Legion of Boom. I think that they're like when you look at it and you go, well, Marcus Peters is going to talk a lot of shit, and he takes the ball away. He's aggressive because he wants to create turnovers, and he intercepts the ball a lot. And I think he'd love it to do it against Kansas City as well. It'd mean a lot to him. Earl Thomas is. We'll get on to Earl Thomas a bit later. He's great defensive player, but we will get on to Earl Thomas in a bit. And the Calais Campbell thing's massive. And who did they take in the draft?
Patrick Queen.
Yeah, I think Patrick Queen is going to step in and be like a CJ Mosley kind of guy who leads the defense and shows what linebackers are about. So yeah, for me, it's Baltimore Ravens are looking to shut up that offense, which is going to be an interesting matchup. That's what makes it interesting for me.
Week 17, San Fran versus Seattle.
Another massive game. A lot of people I've been speaking to from over here have got 49ers going all the way again to the bowl. So again, Russell Wilson's G shutter done. So it's always going to be a good game. I'm excited to see it. See what Bosa and Russell Wilson can do in that game.
Nick, what's your predictions for that one?
I think we win.
That's the one. Yeah. No, you said earlier, didn't you?
I'm not bantering. We almost beat them
so
twice
dry,
last year.
so flat and dry. I was like, I think we win.
We did. We beat them.
I think
Week
I think
17. It's got so many I think it's got so many permutations for
that. There's a lot could be happening at that point of the season.
It could decide who's going to win the division.
Could.
And therefore who gets
it's playoff seedings as well.
Exactly.
Similar to last year as well. Similar to last year as well, because if the 49ers had lost last year, they weren't going to go in as the 2 seed. They were going to go in as the number 6 seed or number 5 seed. Nick, was you the 5 seed?
I think we might have been,
I think that's right,
yeah. Yeah. Whoever won that game went in as the number 2 seed, and it was like, it's an interesting thought process when you look at the 49ers. Again, because they got to the big dance after years of not being around, and that's twice in the last 10 years they've been to the Super Bowl and lost. and it took them a long time to get back to that sort of level of, well, can we get back there? Again, question marks on Garoppolo. The defense is frightening, but they have moved pieces from that defense that were really big last year. Sherman got tore a new one in the Super Bowl. He's lost the yard of pace. He got beat by the deep ball. Teams are going to look to expose it. Garoppolo's got to be better because teams ain't going to get ran over like they did last year. It ain't going to happen. Garoppolo has to be better. So I'm interested to see the 49ers. I'm not sure I'm as high on as everyone else is on them. I think they're going to be good. I don't think they're going to be a Super Bowl team though.
I don't.
49ers again, week 10 at the Saints.
Another playoff matchup. It was decided last year by George Kittle. But that was with Alvin Kamara banged up. So, and I think they will. And Emmanuel Sanders is now on the Saints.
Yeah.
He plays such a big role in this in the Saints offense this year because he will be a great number 2 to Michael Thomas.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean they got rid of Ted Ginn Jr., who I think he's gone over to Chicago, and he was all right. He was a deep threat. He was all right. We had him when he first came around, and then the Saints took him, and he was okay for what he did. But
I've never thought much of Ted Ginn.
Emmanuel Sanders is such a big improvement, though.
Came out in the news and said that he beat Usain Bolt at school or something, didn't he?
Yeah.
Who said that?
Ted Ginn.
Yeah, he's always.
Yeah,
he said he beat Usain Bolt in a race.
Yeah, he's quick. He's quick down the field, but he can't catch the ball.
But that might have been because Cam was playing to him most of the time.
Oh, have you gone back on Cam now?
I have.
Yes.
I have.
Have you gone off Cam? I'm winning this war here then.
You've won tonight, mate. I'll give you that. Week 16, the Cowboys against the Eagles.
It's okay to say the Cowgirls. It's fine.
Nah. Cowboys versus the Eagles, week 16.
Cowboys have got a lot of questions around them. Cowboys have got a lot of questions around them again.
It's in Dallas as well. Playoff positions depending as well.
That's the division. That's the divisional game. That is.
100%.
That's all about whether they're gonna. That's all who's gonna win the division.
Yeah.
Because I think the Eagles are going to be good. I do worry about the Eagles. I worry about Wentz being healthy for a year. I'd like to see it because I feel like he was going to win the MVP a couple of years ago until he got injured in the Rams game when he did his ACL, which they went on to win the Super Bowl. The other one was Super Bowl. I actually think Wentz was going to win an MVP. I'd like to see him get back to that because I think he's exceptional. Dallas has too many questions around their offense. Like Dak's wanting. Well, yeah. I mean,
do you know what? The NFC East is a crap division. I think.
NFC least, mate.
Yeah. Oh God! Just look at it's. Nah, I don't like that division. I think it's such a shit division.
Throwing in on that, Mason said if they get Clowney, they will have the best defense in the league, and he's happy to come on here whenever we want him to and reiterate that.
I've had many a conversation with Sean Mason about the Eagles, and
how shit
I just question how many times a week they're going to drop the ball because they drop the ball a lot, man. Mm-hmm. And the rumours of Alshon Jeffrey creating a fake Twitter account to pick on Carson Wentz is. I mean, that's not.
I didn't know about that.
Did you not know about that?
No, I didn't.
That was in as they were going into the playoffs last year. Apparently, Alshon Jeffrey created a fake Twitter account and was just bagging on Carson Wentz online.
Was there any truth behind it, or
no comments were made after that?
Jesus, so it was true then.
Oh, got
That's ridiculous.
Ridiculous. Wow.
But yeah, I think the Eagles will be there or thereabouts this year, and I think that they'll win the division. I think Dallas might fall apart, and Dalton will be their quarterback, and they'll fall apart.
I agree with that as well. And then the last game, we've gone for the Vikings against the Saints on Christmas Day.
Yeah, looking forward to that. Potentially having Friendsmas.
Really looking forward to that.
Friendsmas, exactly.
But yeah, I'm looking forward to that because I can either take the piss out of my missus or Liam's missus. So,
Same, vice versa.
but no, it's a big game. Interesting to see how Thielen will work without Diggs and see what Dalvin Cook can do this year. And obviously, we've already talked enough about the Saints.
Yeah,
it will just be interesting to see it on the day.
Yeah,
like just even from their perspective, as a mental perspective for the players, like that's going to be tough. Sure,
definitely.
It's going to be. Who's going to be the strongest mentally? I think wins that game.
100%.
Where is it? Is it at Minnesota?
It is in Minnesota. Yeah.
Jesus, that's
Yeah,
going
I'm
to be.
back in Minnesota.
No, sorry. It's in New Orleans.
I was going to say because
Saints
that
New
would be
Orleans. Sorry,
cold.
In
If
New
it's in
Orleans.
Minnesota.
Yeah, but Minnesota playing solid anyway, mate.
Yeah.
Yeah, but still.
I
Now,
think outside it'll be cold.
Saints win that.
Yeah, you think?
Saints win.
I think the Vikings win that order.
I just think the home team wins it. Vikings team, they've got to go a couple of days before.
Yeah.
I honestly think the mental side. I know they're professional athletes and all that, but I just think the mental strength wins that. And I think as a Saints player, you're looking at that thinking, "Thank fuck, we're not playing away on Christmas Day."
yeah, 100%.
Yeah, we'll go to work, smash these, and go home and enjoy
Yeah,
Christmas.
go home, see the family, enjoy
the
it with
rest
my
of Christmas
family. Yeah.
Day. Yeah.
Whereas them Vikings, they'll be fucking training probably Christmas Eve in New Orleans. They'll probably
Without
fly out the
family.
day before. They'll
Yeah.
probably fly out the 22nd or 23rd. Would be pushing it, wouldn't it? Really, I think that plays a huge part.
Yeah, I agree.
And do you know what? It wouldn't surprise me if we didn't see another Christmas Day game after this one.
I would literally be sat on the plane thinking, if I win this, great, but I've still got to fly all that way back. If I lose, it's going to be the worst Christmas I've ever had.
Yeah.
There's no win, is there really?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Now, we just before we went on, I think Carl, you just popped to the toilet, but we thought of one team that we think might be a surprise package this year. I know.
Yeah, what's yours, Carl? What's yours?
I know we.
I'm probably good.
Don't tell him.
No.
I'd
Come on, Carl.
probably.
Come on.
I'd go Detroit, personally.
Well,
I like the Detroit shout. I actually think they're going to be quite good.
Yeah.
Them losing Darius Slay is a big thing for me, though, and him going to the Eagles is a thing as well. But Liam, carry on.
Yeah, no, it was. I thought Denver, the Broncos, and I think it was Nick. You agreed, didn't you?
Yeah. I think the Broncos, as preseason in general, not only in the draft. I think they've
built an offense.
I think what they've done what they did last year, throughout the season last year, what they've done so far this off season, what they're building up towards. I think they are. I said it earlier as well. They're kind of going, for me anyway. They're going under the radar a little bit, not making too much noise, and I think that will be the surprise package. And they've got, in my opinion, a strong chance of making the playoffs.
Well, they lose heavily week 3.
My only thing about Denver making the playoffs, and this is why I think they could struggle, is the division they play in is stacked. Kansas City, the Chargers, the Raiders, they're all going to be competitive teams, and they're good teams. The Raiders. I mean, if the wide receivers go well and Derek Carr plays well, like, there's a chance they're going to be a playoff team. The Chargers, if Justin Herbert sits into that offense, they're going to be a playoff team because they're stacked. And Kansas City are defending champs. Again, mentality, but on paper, you look at that Kansas City team, you're thinking to yourself, they're going to be there or thereabouts. I think Denver they've got the potential to be very
a wild card.
Yeah, no,
potentially,
no,
like that, you know
potentially, yeah. Again, like when you look at it, like you got to think about who's going to come out of what division. I think a team to watch this year, especially after the year they had last year, I think the Steelers could be interesting. there's certain teams. I think Dallas will miss the playoffs, and I think they'll miss them by a long way.
Dallas for all the wrong reasons.
Yeah, Dallas will. I think they'll implode, order.
Mm.
And it'll be all because of the Dak situation.
That'd be hilarious.
I just realised
yeah.
I've got to book 5 Mondays off. Sorry, just to throw you off.
Doesn't really. Like, I know it's about Tampa Bay games, so.
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry.
But no, I think Denver's a good shout. I really do. Them, Detroit, I could see that. Again, but that Detroit division, Bears are going to be better. Packers are there.
Are the Bears going to be better?
Yes.
On defense, maybe, but I don't see them being better on offense.
No, because there will be. Trubisky was pants. Like, awful.
Is Foles that much better? Yeah.
Yes.
But enough to get. I don't know. I like Nick Foles. Don't get me wrong, but I wouldn't
Foles is a lot better.
I must admit, I think they're much improving with Foles.
And Matt Nagy is a very good offensive mind, and he will surprise people with some of the plays he comes up with. And if you looked at the RPO that they ran in for Philadelphia, they will run that in Chicago, and they'll put twists on it and stuff like that. And Nick Foles will make it work. And with a defense like they've got, Khalil Mack in that is going to be Khalil Mack, and he's going to do what he does.
I hope I'm wrong. I mean, I do like the Bears as an organisation, but I don't know. There's something about
they're a trash organisation, but
there's something about them that I just don't think will do that great next year. Personally, I
think Foles will be good.
I'm not sold on him personally.
I think that's a very tough division as well. But then I look at the NFC, and there aren't many teams in the NFC. I think to myself, "Oh, you're not very good. You're going nowhere." Like the ones I look at in the NFC that I think you're not very good are the Giants.
Here we go. Wait for
Skins.
The Redskins.
There we go. There's number 2.
The Panthers.
There we go. There it is.
No, but like,
ding, ding, ding. We have a winner.
Bees,
no,
you've knocked me out. You've done.
No.
Do any more to me.
But and then the only other team I'll probably put in that from that I don't think are going to be able to compete for their division.
Don't you dare.
I'm not going to bag on Seattle. I actually think Seattle are good. There's 2 teams that I'd put in that I don't think are going to compete for their division. Well, I say 2. I actually think one might do, but probably not. The Falcons. I don't think they'll compete for the division.
They will not.
I think the Bucks and the Saints will be too good for them.
They're too far.
And I think Arizona, while they've got better, I don't think they can compete with the Rams, Seattle, and the 49ers.
Yeah, that's a tough fucking, yeah.
And
there's a lot of the pressure's on them. The pressure's on them, the Cardinals, I think. The moves that they've made. Mm-hmm.
I don't think it is. I think they're just still building. I think they're poised to surprise people. Maybe finish. What did they finish last year? 4-12.
Something shit.
Yeah. They're going to finish 6-10, 7-9.
Do you think that they've sold D Hopkins on the fact that it's going to be? This is just going to be a bit of a bumpy year. We're building. I don't think they get Hopkins in if that is how they've sold it. He stays at the Texans.
I don't believe they sold DeAndre Hopkins on anything. I think they sold Bill O'Brien on the massive salary that DeAndre Hopkins is on, and David Johnson. I don't believe they. I don't believe they sold anything to Hopkins. I think it was all done GM to GM and coach to coach. I don't think at all DeAndre Hopkins had a say in it.
Interesting.
I'll tell you what
I think he kicks up a reet stink if first of all, if the GM just rings you up and says, "Oh, by the way, what do you like Arizona?"
But at the end of the day, mate, it's a bit. At the end of the day, it's a business.
For the year. And then when you ring up their GM and you say, "Oh yeah, so what's the aspirations for this year?" and well, we're building. So I know you're arguably the top receiver in the league, but don't expect to have a very productive year, or certainly not on the team basis.
But you're looking small picture there. You're looking at right now. Like DeAndre Hopkins isn't looking. DeAndre Hopkins ain't going to look a year in this season. He's going to look at the year after that, and the year after that when he's getting towards he's the end of his contract. He's going to be looking at it from a long point of view rather than the short and right now sort of point of view, because they ain't going to win right now. I mean, Kyler Murray could hit a sophomore slump. You don't know this, and that's why I look at the Cardinals and I think they're not quite there to compete in that division, because that division is stacked.
Yeah, I mean, even if they are pushing, because I'm with Nick. Like, I don't think D-Hop goes without anything substantial.
Yeah, but D-Hop,
that being said, anyway, like even if they are pushing for something this year, it's still a really tough division to compete in. Definitely.
And what you got to think is, like, this is what my point is. D-Hop wasn't a free agent; he was traded for, so that he has no say. If they like go, yeah, we're trading you, that shit just happens. There's no. Do you want to go to Arizona?
I know that. I know.
He'd have been blindsided by that deal.
I just think he would have kicked up a bit of a stink if he weren't happy.
I mean, we don't know he hasn't.
There was rumours, weren't there, that he was having some unrest with Bill O'Brien.
Well, yeah, because what I actually read was that Hopkins was actually pushing for it because he was asking for a raise.
Yeah, and I think that he doesn't get on with Bill O'Brien. Apparently, like I'd heard that rumor. And the truth of the matter is that the Texans are trying, like they're in a situation where they could win now, and they obviously feel like that's gone. I'm interested to see them. I'm interested to see the Colts this year as well.
Because there's a lot of write-ups that Hopkins actually manipulated Bill O'Brien into that trade.
See, I've seen differently to that. I've seen that Hopkins didn't want the trade, but then I also have seen that Hopkins is going to be like, well, I'm here now. I'm playing with Larry Fitzgerald. I'm playing on a quarterback that's going to get better. I mean, I just don't. Like I said, I don't.
Defense as well.
Yeah, this is literally a quote. This is a quote. So, DeAndre Hopkins, he said, "I have no relationship with Bill O'Brien. I knew a former coach well enough to manipulate a trade from the Houston Texans. All I had to do was ask for a little raise so they'd shop me around to the NFL. And that's the outcome that I wanted." That's a quote.
So that tells you he wanted out, but he wouldn't have picked Arizona. It's just they're the ones that offered the best deal for him.
Yeah.
They're the ones that and they probably did pay him more. Because I can imagine it. He's looking at it, and he was looking. Texans,
I don't think he wanted the money, mate. I don't think he was like. Of course he did, but I don't think that he's just done that to get out of the Texans.
Yeah, I think he wanted out of the Texans. I'm not sure how many years he has left on his deal, but
don't know.
But I could see him having probably 2 years left on his deal, and he thinks to himself, if I go play in Arizona for 2 years, and I ball out, and I'm like next to Larry Fitzgerald, I can learn more, and like I just don't see them being able to compete in that division this year. They'll probably be there or thereabouts next year, but it's all about how Kyler Murray settles in his second year.
Yeah.
For me.
No, I agree. Yeah, that wraps up our not predictions, but games that we're looking forward to next season. Is that right? I think
schedule talk basically.
Yeah, schedule. So we're moving on to big news around the NFL. What are we starting with? Because obviously there's quite a few.
We've got to start with the tragic news. The tragic news, and it is tragic, of the fact there's no international games this year. Can we hold a minute silence?
There's a lot of pain.
Yeah.
Genuinely.
It's going to suck. It really will. I mean, it's huge over here. And to have no games at all in the UK this year is going to suck ass. I mean,
Massively. Massively. Everyone you speak to in in the UK community is absolutely devastated. Like,
I mean, I get it, 100% get it.
yeah, of
It's
course.
the right decision, but my God, from a UK fan's perspective, it's horrible, absolutely horrible. Especially when you look at the fixtures and you think, oh, could we have been like, for example, Carolina. I know we were playing. We're playing the Saints on the 25th of October, which is roughly it's Halloween, so it's roughly when they're over here around that kind of time. And I looked at the fixture and think, could we have been one of the teams that was coming over? And I'm absolutely gutted. I've known my other half. If that was to be true, she was devastated as well. But there's so many games around that time where you think, oh, that could have been the game. That could have been the game. I know, of course, you've got the Jags automatically already coming over. So they were good for a whopping, I suppose. But no, it's going to suck. It really is going to suck not having them come over this year.
It's going to be the first time in probably 6 or 7 years I haven't seen a game in England. To tell the truth, and it's sad for me because it's one of the things I look forward to most in the season is going to watch games in England with my friends, and because obviously we're all into it, we get quite a lot turnout. I mean, last year I think there was 7 of us down there at one point watching a game.
Yeah.
Which was
certainly for the Bucks Panthers game. Yeah, there was 2, 4, 6. Yeah,
I'm talking about the Wembley games when we were with there was me, Nick, and Joe. Were the Bryants, Mace, and Mason's brother.
Yeah,
yeah. So 7 of us, and we was in the hotel, was in the rooftop bar having a few beers, and I mean, we actually booked that hotel, didn't we?
Yeah, you took a punt on that, didn't you, Nick? Early doors.
Did, mate, yeah.
Great show.
We was with the Bengals, weren't we?
Yeah.
Fortunate for Dalton, Beaver didn't see him.
Oh, God.
Gutted.
Yeah.
Gutted.
Oh, dear.
Gutted.
No, yeah, it was just... It's the whole thing, isn't it? It's not just a game. Like, we always go... Whenever we've been Beaver, we get there real early, proper lap up just the day in general, don't we?
Yeah.
It is like Liam, you touched on, you completely get it. You get it, but it doesn't make it any nicer, does it? It's still shit.
Nick, we used to tear off on the Krispy Kremes as well.
Yeah, them Krispy Kremes.
Well, at least Chris won't be sick in his Wagyu steak up at 4 o'clock in the morning.
That is true.
Yeah, and I won't have to endure watching the Panthers beat the Bucks hungover either. But it's the whole weekend, isn't it? It's just brilliant. Both situations, obviously, had that with you boys, and then with Liam, Becca, and Charles. We sat in Brewdog all night before going down there in the morning.
Yeah.
Where did you stay again?
Oh, fuck off. It was a good idea at the time, all right? But as long as we were somewhere to get pissed, I don't care.
Yeah, it's a fair point. No, do you know...
The hotel was decent, to be fair.
Yeah, it was all right.
I mean, you just need to stop defending Milton Keynes now. Let's move on.
It was really weird.
You're definitely banned now. We're looking for a new guest.
No, but seriously, I mean, when I first went... the first weekend I went down... I went down to watch the game. Me and Doddy went, and we went down on the Saturday because we were so excited. We were like, let's make a weekend of it. And we went down on the Saturday, and we got there, and there was a fan park. And in the fan park, there was games and exhibitions and stuff like that, which is like there is on the Sunday now. But the games, when we went on the Saturday, you could win tickets to the game. And Doddy actually won 2 tickets to the games the first time we were there. And ever since then, we've been going and being around the fan parks and being around. You get a lot of American fans over.
Yeah.
You get a lot, don't you?
It's being around. It's the whole city, isn't it? The whole of London.
Do you know what? That just shows how. I think we kind of discussed this week 1. It shows how passionate these guys are about their teams to travel across pretty much, almost the other side of the world, so to speak, just to watch their their team for a couple of hours and go back, which I know a lot of them do. Some of them will stay, of course, but
and they spend
you know what I mean?
serious wedge.
Yeah.
Yeah, you think, to be fair, like, because we went to all the games, didn't
covered
we,
in merch
last year? Like, I know I spent a lot of money. I wasn't bothered about it because, like, we were all, like, budgeting for that, and it is what it is. But, yeah, I'm sure they must spend fucking loads. Absolutely
In their
loads.
mind though, and in their lives, it's similar to what we're like when,
Yeah, of
like
course.
when I went to watch New England in Boston.
Yeah.
Like, it's one of them things where you think to yourself, like, that's a dream, that is. Like, and they come to London, a city that they've probably never been to, a city they'd love to visit, and they get the opportunity to go and watch the team they love and visit the city. Like, I mean, I can personally speak from my experience of going to Boston, as it's probably the greatest place I've ever been. I've had the greatest time there. Like, I can't wait to go back.
Yeah.
For me, it was one of the most special weeks of my life. And I can imagine that a lot of them feel the same. Like, I mean, I know me and Nick have spoken to a couple of families when we've been sat next to them, and they've said to us about how they've come over to watch the game, and it's the first time they've been to London. And they loved every minute of seeing it, and they go around and they see more of England, and it's just been an opportunity for them. So, unfortunately for them, they're going to lose out on the fact of coming over to London to see all that we offer, and to see the way that we feel about the game as well. I think that's what takes Americans by surprise, is the way that we care about the game, and that it takes them by surprise, the fact that we care and we love it so much.
Yeah. I agree.
I know I've had that experience myself, like, of loving the fact that I'm into the game. So,
Definitely. Yeah, it's a shitter.
We'll go big the following year.
Absolutely.
100%.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, the
We'll
only
be
other
back.
time of the year, from a UK perspective, I don't know about you guys, but I love the Thanksgiving game as well, because it's usually on. It's on a Thursday for us, so it's usually on earlier in the day. There's it's usually back to back games, and it usually starts at like 5 p.m. So we're literally finishing work on a Thursday,
And then we got football. Yeah.
and we're watching football all the way through on a Thursday of all days, which you're not used to, all the way through to, if you stay up, of course, you're watching it through till 3-4 a.m. And then you get it again on the Sunday. So I love Thanksgiving weekend. That's probably the main, from a UK's perspective, that the main date that I kind of look forward to now. There's no international games over here, really.
Yeah. Definitely.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I love every weekend, but that's because I'm a bit
Well,
of a
yeah,
sad
of
guy,
course.
I'm a bit of a sad act.
I'd love to get out to Seattle this year, but it's thing. As much as I want to do it, it ain't gonna happen.
We definitely spoke about that the other day, Nick.
No.
I've just seen,
so
obviously,
many brownie points for the other half. And the little one.
Sarah,
it's gonna be worth it.
Sarah's already said no, ain't she, Nick? That, like, you can tell us.
I've not even approached it. Probably won't.
I've already told Charles that, because obviously Ben's in New York, I've already told her that the Bucks are playing the Giants my birthday week, just threw it out there, just to let it fester in her head before I say that I'm going.
I like the fact he says that he's going.
It's all about groundwork.
I mean, what we all know is though that Charles going to go with, yeah.
Well, yeah, more than likely. Well, I didn't realise obviously until Thursday, till yesterday, looking at it properly, that obviously we've got them as well. So I don't know.
Is it at MetLife Stadium as well?
The Giants game is, yeah, but obviously we've got the Vikings in December as well. But I haven't got. I don't know if she's open to going there and then coming back and going straight over there.
I know. Yeah. Me and the missus will probably try and go to a Panthers Saints game. It's probably quite handy. We played each other twice, but I know last year we almost did it. Sorry, this year at the end of the season just gone, but next year I think we play the Saints' last game of the season, which is the start of January. So we'd possibly go over to New Orleans for New Year's, possibly, because we haven't got a holiday this year now anyway. So to go over for Christmas and and maybe New Year's and stay till the last couple of days of the first week of January.
Carl's booked to go for the Super Bowl, so.
Well, this is it. I'm just like, the more I look at it, because obviously, like, you know, especially like being on lockdown, like I've saved so much. Like I've spent money on nothing that I haven't needed to, and now I'm just looking like we can go wherever we want. Like we've obviously just got the house to move into, but like financially we're okay, and we can still do these things, providing other things don't happen in our personal life. And I'm just like, should I just sack work off for 3 months and just stay in America? Just don't see the point in going there and coming
Take
back.
the podcast over there.
Yeah.
Oh no, there's a second peak. You've got to lock down quarantine for 2 weeks in America.
Otherwise, I'm flying over there in New York in November, which flights aren't too bad. And obviously, I'd be staying at Ben's, so we wouldn't have to pay for accommodation. But still, it's going to be like 400 quid each return, something like that. Then if we do decide to do the Vikings one, then that's going to be another 800 quid between us on flights. And then, obviously what I've paid for February, I'm just like, well, we could just, scrimp it out and just stay in a hostel for 3 months or something.
They're flying out there for
the house.
The flying out there for Christmas, Carl, wouldn't be a bad idea. The only thing I will say is ticket prices are expensive.
Yeah.
Like I don't think I think so we what did we pay, Nick, for our season tickets? Is it around £100 a game?
Yeah, it's about 400 quid for the 4 games, isn't it? That's right.
Yeah. So to sit in some nice seats in the stadiums is expensive. When I went to the Tennessee game, which we spoke about before previously on one of the episodes, I think it cost me about £120, and I was sat like middle tier. When I went to the Patriots game, I paid £100 and I was sat in the top tier. You have to fork the money out to sit in your good seat. So when you look at it, like, it isn't the cheapest, but it's so worth doing. Like I cannot tell you enough of watching the Patriots in Boston. Oh my God, there's just nothing that I can compare to it.
It's almost, would you say it's almost like it doesn't really matter per se where you sit in the stadium, because you're there, the atmosphere, the experience. Do you know what I mean?
I mean, where I was, it was around like a New Year's Day game, and where I was sat, even though I was the top tier, the atmosphere and the fact that when they found out I was English, when they heard me cheering and stuff like that, they were like, "What, this guy's English? What's he here for?" And then when I said I'm there for the Patriots and stuff like that, the reaction I got from them and the fact I knew about football, knew about the game, they absolutely loved it, and it kind of made my experience. And Boston as a whole, like being in the city and talking to people in bars, and just like, I'm a Celtics fan as well, so in the basketball terms, people loved it, and everybody was like, everyone couldn't believe I'd flew over to Boston to see the sports. So their reaction to me was like, what? They thought it was mad.
Yeah.
Like, but I suppose when you look at it in that sense, like, it is so worth doing, and I'll recommend it to any new fans, any fans in general. If you get the opportunity to go and watch your team in their own stadium, do it. It's the best experience of your life.
I forgot how I did. I have brought this up with Sarah, and I spun it like this. I said, well, I'd be away for 2 days for 4 weekends, which is 8 days, but I'd only go away for 7. So technically, I'm giving her a day back.
Please tell me. Can we get Sarah in to explain what she said?
But you get it, right?
I get it, 100%.
Yeah, 100%. And what did Sarah get? What did Sarah give you? Click down here.
Literally, she just looked at me, I think she just looked at Toby and was just like, yeah.
Oh, so she played the guilt trip card.
It was more just the eyes, just like, nah.
And my other option is sack the Giants off, sack the Vikings off, sack Christmas off, potentially sack my relationship off and drop 5 bags on a Super Bowl ticket if the Bucks make it.
Do
I
it.
am
Once in a lifetime,
contemplating
Carl.
I know.
Once in a lifetime thing.
The
I mean,
thing
that'd be
is,
a dream.
well, the thing is, when we both got back together, I'd already preempted it 3 years ago, and I said to her, if either of us ever make the Super Bowl and we got the option to get tickets, we're going to get tickets.
Yeah.
I told her how much they were, and she was like, okay, providing we've got the money. And I was like, I said that 3 years ago, so I've got the proof, and I just keep
Yeah, but
bringing
she
it up
never,
every year.
she
And
never
when
believed you'd get there.
True, but then when it come to it, and I told her about it being in Tampa, and she's obviously followed Tom Brady's sign and stuff. I said, look, flights are only this. She's like, oh, you'd be stupid not to book them. I was like, fucking come on, love. Step 2's fucking sorted.
Thank God, because they're already booked.
She'll be praying that you imagine we get to Super Bowl, actually like, have to bite the bullet and buy a ticket. Like,
Mate,
she wouldn't
that's
agree
honestly,
with that then. She wouldn't
that's
agree with
honestly
that
a
then.
dream of mine. He's like to watch the Super
So
Bowl.
expensive,
I think it's
It's
just
just so
boardwalk,
expensive.
Yeah,
Like,
so
yeah.
when Scott was on about, because Scott went to the Rams Pats game, wasn't it? He went
Yeah.
to. And when he said that, I was thinking about selling them, I was just like, why? Why?
Oh,
You probably won't ever get the chance to watch the Super Bowl again. Like, just fucking go.
Yeah.
It's,
The
Mate,
thing is, as
I'm
well,
just-
even if you've got the money, like unless you in the know with someone or really hot on the, but you ain't getting a ticket anyway. Like regardless
Exactly,
of it being $5,000, are you? Like they just sell out. It's fucking crazy.
Mm.
Which is why I'm gonna have to keep on to Mike Evans' Twitter every day. Pray that he sees one.
mate, get a Brady as well.
I'm trying, mate. They don't respond. I'm not big fan enough. It's the only reason I've started this podcast, to get thousands and thousands of subscribers so I can get free tickets.
So we get up on Mike Evans' radar.
Oh,
Mate, you just need to play
at least you're
Call of
honest,
Duty with him.
Carl.
No, I'm joking. I'm joking.
Play
It
Call
would
of
be
Duty with him.
amazing, though. Huh?
Yeah, oh, mate. Mate, get on Call of Duty. He plays Call of Duty, doesn't he? Do you
Yeah,
remember when he found out about Brady?
Yeah, he was pissed, mate. He was fucking steaming. Have you and Liam seen that?
No.
Evan steaming playing
No.
Call of Duty with some kid, and he's asking him about Tom Brady.
Is it on YouTube?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it will be. Yeah.
I'll have a look at that.
It's funny.
It's very good.
Right.
So the next piece of news, the New Orleans Saints have released right guard Larry Warford.
I find that such a strange decision.
Three-time Pro Bowler.
Cap space.
They saved $7 million on cap space alone.
How much? 7.
7 mil, I think it is.
Bloody hell.
Yeah. He turns
Yeah, but
29. He's only turning 29 next month as well.
there's something tells me that we're not getting the full end of the story. Like, there's no way it's just a cap space reason. Because
Surely not. Yeah.
because 7 million's not enough to bring you in a player, like a top player anyway.
Especially when they drafted a lineman in the first round as well.
Is there anyone that they're due to pay, though?
No, because they paid Michael Thomas. Yeah.
Kamara. Maybe that's it.
But that's
$7 million.
That's going to be a drop in the ocean for what they're going to have to pay him, though.
That's true. That is true.
7 million.
You wouldn't get rid of him for him
Mm.
to make space for the cap for him.
No, I wouldn't be surprised if there's something going on. Like he's breached some
Something
rules
behind the scenes.
something behind the scenes that hasn't come out.
Is this Alvin Kamara's contract yet?
I believe it is. Yeah.
So I wonder if they are going to offload Breeze then at the end of this year.
Maybe that salary cap's for Jameis.
Do you honestly believe that? Do you honestly hope that? Is that because he throws the ball to you?
No, I do want to see him do well. I want to see him do well.
I'm just glad he can see
Preferably not
now.
at the Saints. Preferably not at the Saints.
Oh man,
I love seeing him do well for other teams' defenses.
At least he can see now, though.
He's a very good man.
Is it?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's I don't even know who out there needs a right guard.
Carolina.
Not a fucking clue.
The Bengals.
About us, but we got Ali Marpet. We don't need one
Yeah.
either.
The Bengals. They need a lot.
Bengals need a new fucking quarterback. Not fucking right guard.
Tell me how you feel about Burrows.
No, I'm just bantering there. That's
You're not the
how I
way.
feel.
You're not there.
No,
You're not-
I am. I think he'll be all right. I just don't think it won't be great though.
He ain't gonna be all right. They'll be trash.
I just think the right guard is the last of their concerns at the minute.
You think the main concern is the fact that they just took a quarterback #1 pick, but they needed another quarterback.
Genuinely though, look at their backup quarterbacks. Like they're fucking nobody. Like
Is Ryan Lindsay still there?
no, I don't think he is.
Oh wow.
If Burrows is a bust, what are they going to do? They are fucked.
They've got no plan.
Pick Trevor
They are
Lawrence
fucked.
next year.
They've literally got no plan B here. Like they've just slung Burrows in, expecting him to ball out.
Odds on them signing Cam Newton.
If he's still there.
Got to be high.
If
Gotta
he's
be
still
high.
there by then, you know.
What do you mean?
Because
If nobody's looking at Cam Newton.
No, only reason I say is because Cam was adamant he was only going to a team as a starter. He's now changed his tune and said he's happy to go as a backup. So now teams know that he's happy to go as a backup. That means anyone could pick him up as a backup. And
Do you know what?
If Cam goes
Do you
to
know
the
what?
Bengals, who starts week 1?
Cam.
Do you know why Cam's gone back on his decision? Because
one's
he's realised there isn't a market for him to start.
No one's paying him.
No one would make him their starting quarterback.
Still you that are favourites to sign him, you know, Bees.
Yeah, I know. I'm aware. I've seen it. I'll still bag on him as well.
No, I'm not.
I'll throw the ball.
Obviously, it's not going to be as a starter. It wouldn't be.
No.
Would they sit him behind Stidham?
I'd have him over Stidham.
Yeah. I know you would.
Yeah,
No,
but-
I'm being biased.
But
Come
would
on,
you sit him behind
Carl's-
Stidham, Beeves? Honestly,
Carl, he's back ragged on me all day, so I've got to try and get some.
I agree. Chap. I agree. I'm with you.
To be honest,
trying to get
mate.
a bite out
To
of
be
him.
honest, mate. Look, you've got to. If you're gonna roll with Stidham, roll with him. Don't bring a Cam Newton in, because all of a sudden then Cam Newton tries to be the star of the show. And Cam's not been a star in 4 years, 5 years.
It's backfired. This is backfired, Liam.
However, do you not think he would show a massive improvement under the Belichick regime? There?
No, because he can't throw the ball.
Yes, he can.
He can't.
Let's move on from Cam Newton. This is going nuts.
Yeah. Anyway,
Back
next
to Larry Warford.
Well,
Yeah. Weird one, that, but
It
yeah.
was.
let-
It was a
move on
weird
to-
one. There's a few teams out there that could get him. I would personally say the Panthers could be one of them because we need offensive line help. He's a 3-time Pro Bowler. Pro Bowler?
How about that?
Yeah. He's a three-time Pro Bowler. I still can't say the fucking word. But from what I've been reading, I don't think he would. He wouldn't demand as much as you would probably think. He still probably won't be able to afford him, but maybe rejig some cap space around. I don't know. I'd have him personally. I'd have him because again, we need offensive linemen. But yeah. Next news is it's more of a question, I suppose. There's been rumours or predictions, anyway, of Case Keenum taking over from Baker Mayfield as the season goes on.
I don't think it takes many games for that decision to be made. I think that's quite a straightforward decision. If Baker Mayfield given 4 games, if nothing's happening, this realistically, when you look back 2 years ago, this would have been the year that they've got to have been thinking we need to be producing it this year. So I can see them making it's not a drastic change if he's not performing, but it's quite a bold statement to make. And I just think when you look at that longevity of probably what the franchise are trying to achieve, I think they are behind where they want it to be.
I think Baker needs to go to his Oklahoma days and stick the flag in the ground and say, this is my turf. And I think he needs to prove himself now as an NFL quarterback. He needs to get out the adverts and he needs to go and win games of football. Look, I don't want to see the games where there's games where he goes off and he throws for 400 yards, 4 touchdowns. Nobody can do anything about him. And then there's games where he's thrown 4 interceptions and a touchdown. And you think to yourself, why have you thrown the ball 4 times to the opposition? What are you doing? What decisions are you seeing? Like, that offense is built to win. He is stopping them winning, and like you said, it ain't going to take long. People become very unhappy very quickly when you're not doing well.
Yeah,
I think
he's almost had enough time. It's shit or bust now.
Yeah,
I think Beans, I think you said it last week, he wants to be the star before he's the player, doesn't he?
Yeah.
The adverts he's in, like, look, there's one advert where he's walking around an empty stadium and he's messing about, cleaning the loos and stuff like that. That's going to be his next. That's going to be his next. That's going to be his next job if he continues to play the way he is, because he is trash play. And for me, he's now got to go back to his Oklahoma days. He's got to be cocky. He's got to be a dickhead. Look, that's fine. Look, stamp the flag and stamp your authority. Let teams know you're good enough to be in this league. Because I actually do think he's good enough. But I think like he kind of feels like he's already made it.
Games when he balls out, they win.
Yeah. That's why I was excited to see him, that arrogance that he had. But it's it's misaligned now completely, isn't it? Like he's not using it in the sense of how he plays the game. It's like you said, he's just acting like a star. And let's be honest, he's bang average at the moment.
Yeah,
he's not bang average.
He's not using his cocky attitude for footballing purposes. No. He's using it for personal purposes, just to try and make some coin outside of the game. And no, I think I agree with your point, Nick. To be fair,
maybe it's just a smart business move from him. Maybe he knows he's not actually that good, so he's making coin on the side.
I actually think he might be quite good this year, because I think he will have that drive, man. Because people are bagging on him, and people are going to expect him to fail now.
Yeah.
I haven't even seen the Browns' schedule, to be fair.
No, I haven't either. I'm not sure what sort of schedule they've got. But all I know is they had an easy back end of the schedule last year, and they were trash for the rest of it.
From the last game being the Titans.
Their division, they've got.
Do you know what? They've got
the Ravens twice.
They've got a winnable schedule, I would say.
They've got the Ravens twice, the Steelers twice. Steelers are going to be a decent side again. I mean, they went at 7-9, was it? I think that's the first time Mike Tomlin's had a losing record since he's been a coach. And the scary thing is, the reason that is because Ben Roethlisberger was injured. And they were competing. They could have finished 8-8. They nearly snuck into the playoffs. It's scary how good they could be.
Is there late run?
I mean, don't get me wrong. They'll beat the Bengals twice. The Bengals going to be trash. Burrow's going to be a flop. It's going to be bad. AJ Green will leave at the end of the next season. The only reason he's there is because they franchise tagged him. Yeah. But for me,
I feel really sorry for AJ Green.
Mate, he wanted out quickly. He wanted out. He said to me, "Do not franchise tag me. Either let me go or sign me to a massive deal." And they franchise tagged him.
Fucking savage.
Which means he's signed for 1 year, mate. And he's been injured for the last 2-3 years. He's a gun, man. If he could get out of there, he'd be stand a chance. Somebody like Philadelphia should have made a move for him.
Oh,
and they should have swapped
out. There would have been bags of fucking teams after him.
They should have sent Alshon Jeffrey the other way and brought in AJ Green.
Yeah, I think before he got franchised, I'm pretty sure the Patriots are one of the favourites to go for him as well.
Yeah, and then I did think we'd make a move for him if he became a free agent.
He would be such a good signing for you.
It'd be a good signing for anyone. AJ Green's a freak.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
I mean, he made Andy Dalton. He was the reason Andy Dalton looked like he could win a game. And Andy Dalton is pure trash, like garbage.
Tell us how you really feel.
He's absolutely awful.
Enough.
So yeah,
final bit of news.
Yeah, we obviously we all agree on the fact that Baker could lose his job this year pretty quickly.
100%.
Yeah, moving on to the big stuff.
Yeah, the final bit of news for this week is
everyone's talking about it.
Is the Earl Thomas story?
Earl, what are you doing?
If you haven't heard, I urge you all to just go online and read about it. It's hilarious. So yeah, I'll let the Beaver explain what happened because I just want to laugh for a minute.
So Earl Thomas this week was found in bed with his mistress and his brother having a threesome. They were caught by
Is
his
that
wife.
actually what happened? They had a threesome. I thought they were just shagging the same woman. I didn't know they actually had a
No,
threesome.
they were having a threesome, mate.
Jesus Christ.
Like, there's been memes going around this week calling them Super Smash Bros. And 2020 and everything like this.
GG,
And
boys,
so-
GG.
And so Earl Thomas's wife walked in and found them shagging this bird, and then I don't know what happened then, but all of a sudden she had Earl Thomas held at gunpoint.
She's holding him up with a
Well,
357.
I've just read.
Man was
I've
in the
read
gulag.
a headline, and it says that, and then it's got in inverted commas, stuff like this happens, says future Hall of Fame free safety. It's like, what? Stuff like what happened?
You get into bed with your side piece and your brother.
I'd love to know if he actually said that. Like,
Eiffel
what?
Tower sunburn
I
with his
mean-
brother. What the fuck? And his missus walks in with a magnet. Earl,
I mean, as well. Not only that, right?
what the fuck you doing, Earl?
However, what I want to know is, why the hell were they doing it close enough for his wife to be near enough to be able to get into the room and put a gun on him?
Yeah, I know.
Surely, if you're doing that sort of thing, you go completely different area code.
Bro,
I just read it as she found out and then just pointed at a gun at him, like, what the fuck are you doing? I didn't realise that she walked in on it.
she
that what
caught
you-
him, yeah.
Oh,
She
right.
caught him, yeah.
Shit.
I
And
mean, it would have been funny if she didn't catch them and she literally just had a text off someone reading the text. She just finished. She's reading the text all casual, stood next to him, not letting off any emotion. Just walks over to her bag, pulls out handgun, just points it at his head, just shows him the phone.
I'm not.
What the fuck
I'm not-
is this?
I'm not
I mean-
sure. Like,
Like,
What
mean,
you been doing?
holding a
your
gun to
dumb
somebody's
ass?
head,
he's
or
not
holding a
getting out
gun.
of that one.
Like, luckily enough, nobody. Like, obviously, the marriage is probably going to be over, but luckily enough,
Maybe,
shot.
maybe.
No,
Well,
mate. Hey,
You don't know.
mate,
There's a lot of money
To be
involved.
fair, yeah. He
Yeah,
earns a lot of money.
And what you got to think is, like, thankfully the gun wasn't used and nobody was killed and
Yeah,
all
absolutely.
sorts of
Yeah.
stuff
We're
like
making
this.
a
Like,
crack about it, but that's true.
we're making a crack about it, but that's like on a serious note. But generally,
I mean, I'd
like-
have understood if she shot him.
Clark.
A little bit.
But Earl Thomas actually took to social
I don't want him
media
to
and
die,
tweeted
obviously.
out,
I'd have shot him in the leg or something.
Could have been an Oscar Pistorius.
Ended his
thing
career.
all over again.
ended his
Well,
career.
no,
Like,
that shouldn't be making stupid decisions, should they?
no, but
With his brother.
as men, we all know we're stupid.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, but
No.
I'm not stupid enough to sleep with someone with my brother at the same time. Like,
Yeah, it's a fair point.
Oh,
Right,
that-
so-
I just
That's
don't get it.
Him and his brother were in separate bedrooms with two other women.
So,
That's
I
not what
didn't
he
think
said.
they were sleeping with the
That's
same
what-
woman.
No, he said that they were sleeping with the same woman in the one
Yeah,
article I
sorry.
read.
I read that they slept with the same woman, but I didn't know that. I didn't
They
read
went
that they were
back
doing it
at
at the same time.
Yeah.
So
It's
we've
on
added
the funny side
we've
of it.
added fuel to the fire here.
But
Look, Earl
Earl
Thomas,
Thomas-
Mrs. Earl Thomas. If you watch this, it was Beaver.
Earl Thomas did tweet out though, respect my family's privacy, and no questions. And then his own teammate did comment underneath and say, "Bro, you was caught in bed. Your brother was involved. There was a gun involved, and you think there's going to be no questions? Be real. Come on."
Which is
Like-
a fair point.
Like, I mean, you're asking if you're a teammate of his. The first thing you're asking on the first day is,
this article is getting better and better. He's got now that, according to the document, he wrestled the gun away from his bird. And then when the police turned up, she was chasing him with a knife, and he had a gun. So he was running with the gun away from
a
his
knife.
bird with a knife.
Oh, well,
I'm not
fair
sure.
play
I'm not
to him
sure.
for
What
However,
that.
I wonder what. This,
again.
I wonder this girl. I wonder who she thought was the best.
Jesus. But do you know what? No, we're laughing about it. It's good that we can say that because, like you say, no one was hurt, so we can laugh about it. which is a
Yeah,
good
like we
thing.
can laugh about it, and like
Because it's just.
I'm telling you now.
behaviour, innit?
his teammates have blown up his phone every week.
Oh mate,
gone.
no, but you're
Bro.
absolutely right. Like
Oh,
you're
yeah.
Oh,
an NFL superstar. How are you going to fucking turn around and ask the media not to ask questions, respect my privacy?
Yeah.
How about you respect your missus' fucking feelings? Don't go shagging some bird behind her back with your brother in the next room with some other bird as an NFL superstar and have the audacity to sit on your high horse about it. We want to ask questions.
Yeah, innit?
I want to
They've
laugh
got
at
kids
you.
together.
All right, you're alive. I want to laugh at you. She didn't shoot you, so we're going to abuse you.
Oh yeah, like the amount of abuse. Like if he was literally guarding you next year, the first thing you're going to comment
mate,
as,
I want everyone mic'd up. Everyone who stands opposite him this season.
oh
needs a
mate, it's
mic.
got, yeah. At some point,
Week 1
because
against
Earl
the
Thomas
Browns,
talks trash as well.
against OBJ.
Earl Thomas talks trash as well.
Earl Thomas
Like-
can talk trash
Yeah,
because
but,
he's sick.
Yeah.
Like on the field, you can talk trash, but what you're
Maybe
doing off
we
the
should
field,
try and start a hashtag on Twitter. About
Earl
trying to
Thomas,
get
tell us what happened.
Someone getting mic'd up. OBJ, someone mic'd up opposite Earl Thomas. That'd be fucking hilarious if that
I do love
trended.
Mark. I do love Mark Tuff. He's fun.
Can you imagine? It'd be funny as
Oh
fuck.
mate, like, but he could play seriously well this year, like, because he's got like he might want to make his name in the press about how good he plays, not about that.
Yeah,
So he could have a real big year.
Still a dumbass.
Yeah,
Funny,
100%.
It's funny.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't know what to say. Just like the story's just hilarious, absolutely hilarious. Only because nobody got hurt. But yeah, I think that sums up pretty much everything that we were going through this week.
Mhm.
Has anyone got anything else they want to add?
I feel like I should apologise to Liam. I mean, I'm not going to. I'm just putting it out there so people actually think I care.
But like by saying
No
that I'm
comment.
not going to apologise and explaining it defeats the object as to why you're saying it. So
I'm just
own
pointing
it.
it out.
Just leave it there.
It's all right. I'll have my moment in the sun. Don't worry.
Just accept the fact you've ruined his Sunday night.
Gotta go
Okay.
back to the missus in a minute and explain what just happened.
I love how this podcast discourages apologies.
Just doesn't it?
Yeah.
But yeah,
I
it's
wanna-
been another great week. We've all enjoyed it. Slowly but surely getting to the start of the season. Slowly but surely. We're only, 3 months out, roughly?
Give or take.
But yeah, we're here in no time. So this has been 4th and Inches. You can catch us on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Anchor FM, Apple Music now.
Are we set up on Apple, are we?
I believe so. I had another one through on my
so.
phone today. I keep because I've done it through Anchor FM. What they do is they distribute to as many places as they can. But I just keep getting texts like every day saying you're on here and you're on here. So I will put all the links in the description because they're long. But yeah, if you like what you see on here, please subscribe here. I'm doing this because I'm actually going to put the subscribe button there when I edit it.
Follow the Facebook
As it is.
page.
Yes, the Facebook page. Liam, I'll let you do a quick bit about that before we go because that's took off quite well.
Oh, it has. Yeah. We've been. I think we've had the page now for 4 days, and we're on around 120 followers so far, which is absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, it is.
4 days to get that many followers is absolutely fantastic, and we just want that to keep growing and growing. We're going to be a lot more active on the Facebook page moving forwards. All of our videos will be going on there, different playlists and so on, different segments, all that kind of thing, as you've probably seen already this last week. I think we'll be having a hopefully possibly a Twitter page as well moving forwards and that kind of thing. So we're moving forward, certainly on a social aspect anyway. So follow and like on everywhere.
Yeah, just like any social media platform that you have at the moment, we should be there. And if we're not, we will be.
Keep doing it, and we'll do more giveaways. The more
Yes.
people we get, the more giveaways we'll do.
Yeah, because we're currently sat on 609 subscribers. We've gained, I think, 18 in the last 3 weeks, which is great. We want to obviously get as many as possible. So I think we agreed that the next milestone would be 7. Was it 7 or 750, Nick?
700, I think, wasn't it?
700. So we'll do a giveaway at 700, and then from there we'll be looking at 850 and then 1,000, and we'll kind of tier what we'll get you or offer out.
I think it's I think we've shown that we're willing to do these sorts of things. The fact that we started the competition just giving out a hat, and it's turned out we're going to give him giving Anthony Bromhead a jersey instead. So we're willing to reward our followers with what we can, really.
Yeah. So please like the video, subscribe, share as much as possible, because the quicker we get there, the quicker we can chuck free shit at you, basically.
And if anyone wants to know anything or anything like that, don't hesitate to message any of us, because we are doing this for your benefit. We want to be connected to you, so just don't hesitate to message us or ask any questions that you want to know about. All of us we're good people. We're here.
You're not.
So if
Right, before we get to the round, wrapping it up, it's been your boys from 4th and Inches. Stay safe, stay alert, as Boris says. We'll see you next week. Peace.
Peace.
Take it easy.